bought something in the pre-market or the after hours and instantly regretted it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. It is Tuesday. We got more stuff to do today. I got my main man 13 in the back. We're ready to go. I just need to play the intro, which I, of course, don't have to do.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
All right, folks. Hello and welcome and happy Tuesday. I hope you all are doing well here this morning. We are back at it. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Jesse, good morning. Becca, good morning. Market Sniper, Jonathan, Smoke Tuna, Kevin, good morning, everybody. Let's bring on 13. 13, how you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm just laughing at all the shenaniganery that's going on here.
Shenaniganery is not a word, but it is now, thanks to 13. So we're starting it out here early with some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at, Fun and DWAC and some of these other names, and as well as Apple, and reading the news there and just kind of, just chuckling to myself. But yeah, it's been a pretty good morning. I'm looking forward to trading some names, even though we have some market weakness, it looks like.
Okay, well, let's talk about that stuff together. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Let me bring up the platform. First of all, before we start here, as a reminder, stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. They're great prop firm. If you need to get above the 25K, they can help. If you need additional buying power, they can help. Good broker. Go check them out. We love them here. The one thing I do really, we'll go to their stocks to watch here in a sec. Let's talk about the SPY though. Sure looks like we kind of had a topping candle yesterday. Looks like we're going to be a little bit weaker today. We're weaker here in the pre-market. Some of these other stocks are down. Of course, we've got Apple news to discuss. Apple is sinking here today. So we'll see if we end up trading down here today. This formation is really kind of repeating itself, right? It's just a slow grind up, sell off, slow grind up, sell off, slow grind up, sell off. So we're getting the same type of formation here. We'll see if we rebound here today on the SPY or if we go lower. 13, you got any gut feeling on the SPY here today?
Well, it's to me, it's good that we're seeing some weakness in these Mag 7 names. That's really what's propping the market up right now. But yeah, to your point about the patterns repeating, we've been moving up and then we go a bit sideways, fade a little bit, and then make the next move up to a new all-time high. So until that stops happening, I'm just gonna leave my put my hands up, be like, okay, just do your thing. Yeah. But the fact that we're getting that weakness in Apple and Tesla this morning, particularly, is an encouraging sign, because I do want to see this broader market correct to a degree so that we can keep going up.
Me too. In fact, that's what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for a correction, not necessarily a sell-off where everyone's scared and panics, but a correction here that resets some of the valuations to levels that make sense again. And on some of the stocks that I want to own long-term, I want to get discounts on them. And I'm hoping that that's what we end up doing here. So you started off there. You mentioned a couple of stocks. Let's take a look here at Apple first. I know this is one that we've discussed quite a bit. We actually had a nice, robust discussion on this in happy hour yesterday. Mm-hmm. Apple here, this to me, first of all, sure looks like this is going to go ahead and test the 500-day. That's that purple line on your screen. It looks like we're going to get some support there. Also have some support here at 166. Really, this 160 to 165 area should provide some pretty good support. You have orders out on this even lower, don't you, 13?
165 and 160 are the orders I have out right now. And I even see a case for this going to as low as 140. So it's not going to be the only orders that I put out there. And if they fill, I'll have other targets lower. But this will be a long-term hold for me if I get these prices. I think that the chart's showing that we're in a bit of a double topping pattern here. So this thing could drop pretty significantly, especially if the news that's coming out this morning continues to pick up in that direction.
Yeah, and what you're referring to here, we've got a newsprint here this morning. iPhone sales dipped 24% in China, falls to fourth place behind Vivo, which I've never heard of, and Huawei, which has, let's call it a checkered past here in the United States. So Jim Cramer says Apple stock short-term prospects is, quote, not a table pounder. So take that for whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Not codified at all.
Not what?
Not codified at all.
Yeah, take Jim Cramer with the grain of salt. But in any case, we are getting an Apple move down here, down about 2.3% here in the pre-market. This is an interesting one. I'd be curious to know from the group, where are you folks looking to actually add this on the way down? Voodoo, I know we talked yesterday about some of your spots here for the way down on Apple, but curious to know what the market thinks on some of these spots on the way down. What was the other stock that you wanted to take a look at here, 13? You mentioned it right alongside Apple.
Yeah, I'd also mentioned Tesla.
Tesla, right. Tesla. All right.
Down.
Say again?
I said, God darn Tesla going down.
It is going down here. So we had a move down yesterday that was pretty significant. Looks like we're getting some more here. Really, the question for me is, where is Tesla going to bounce? Because we've watched the stock quite a bit. There's definitely going to be a bounce in here. There's definitely going to be some tradable areas in here, without a doubt. J for Apple, your spot 163, 165. Okay, so looking to pick up longs there on Apple, 163, 165. Jay, I would ask the same question here on Tesla, if you would even buy it. I'm not even sure this is something that you would buy, but let me know. Jonathan's asking Tesla maybe to 152. 152 would put us right about here. This is going to be the bottom from April of last year. Definitely think there could be some support there. Looks like this was a gap up area too. That was 152, right? Yeah, it's right in this little gap here. So it's right at the bottom of this move here on Tesla. I do kind of think we're at a support level right here on Tesla, maybe a little bit lower, 182, 180. But then we also have this bottom right down here about 176. So I would expect or maybe hope to see some bounces there. Tesla shares trading lower after a German factory halted its production due to a nearby arson attack. Now, an arson attack, that's got to be a fairly short-term thing. So I would imagine that plant shutting down is probably not a big deal longer term. But in any case, that is some news that we're getting here today. Jay, to answer my question here, no interest. It's the most expensive of the so-called Mag 7. That's kind of what I figured, but I wanted to ask you instead of just assume.
Yeah, I don't know how to really value that stock, Tesla. It's, a lot of the value that has been placed into it is not everybody's, same thought. There's some people that think it's probably worth less than 100. Yeah. While some are thinking it's worth over 200, 300. Until there's like a better idea of what kind of valuation you can put on this thing, I really don't want to own it. I think there are some catalysts. I've traded that. I traded it back in 2020, but I think there are some catalysts coming up that could be really good for the company in the long run. But I'm not going to own it up here, and I really don't know where I want to start owning it, to be honest.
Jonathan mentioning Tesla has 10K Bitcoin.
Okay.
So now here's the thing. I have never thought of trading Tesla based on its Bitcoin position.
It's like a cash position.
Yeah, it's like that, but it seems more volatile than a cash position. So I'm just not sure how to factor this into the calculus. But this is a good point. This is something to remember. So as Bitcoin continues to trade up here, by the way, we were above 68,500 on the futures, not far from an all-time high breakout. Yeah. Look out if that happens. Some of these other stocks that we talk about every single day, it seems, Mara, Riot, MicroStrategy, all of those could be in play for trades. Now, I know we're talking here a little bit about Tesla, and it's not necessarily interested in taking this long term. This has actually been a great trading vehicle for us. So we often see volatility. We might be able to set up some day trades as opposed to swing trades.
Yeah, just be like Lynn and Randy and use it as an ATM.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Lynn and Randy have done a great job really kind of learning how to trade the same asset and developing patterns, recognizing patterns, and then trading those patterns. I think that's really prudent. Couple more stocks we wanted to take a look at here. I know it's Super Tuesday, so we're going to take a look here at DWAC and FUN. DWAC here actually looked like it was testing 50 earlier. We didn't quite get all the way up there, but looks like we were trying to make a move towards 50. If you take a look at the daily chart here, if this breaks 50, it probably has room up towards the high 50s, maybe even 60 itself. Just kind of looking at the chart here. So we'll see. Definitely want to see how this trades around the open. PHUN is the other one. Remember, this is reverse split recently, so it's no longer a penny stock. We have this Sure looking like this is also teasing a breakout here. The one thing that we take a look at, if you take a look at yesterday's intraday high, it is right about where the pre-market highs are. So right up here, let's call it $17, definitely going to be a key level for PHUN. One more thing that I want to mention about these two stocks, even if I had a feeling about what was going to happen politically, I still don't think I would hold these stocks overnight. These are the definition of trading vehicles. 13, we talk about this all the time. I would use this as such. I would literally just use this as a trading vehicle. No way. Even if the expected political event happens, the stock could still trade differently. It's just use them as trading vehicles. Be very, very careful if you're going to hold these things overnight. To me, that's not on the docket here.
Yeah.
But both of these should be in play today.
And Super Tuesday, that's today. We're getting the results later, and I think that's going to be a sell the news event with some of these. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I think with the way we're trading up ahead of the results would make me think that when the results do come out, profit taking is going to happen. We'll definitely see some selling. The thing about DWAC is that it's got a pretty good spread right now. I'm seeing 35-cent spread. I've seen this thing, go over $1 spread, and that makes this pretty difficult in some cases to trade. And also, there's a elevated risk with that. If I'm going to trade either one, it'll probably be PHUN, just because it seems to trade a little bit better. I mean, right now it's just a 5-cent spread, so a little bit easier to manage a trade. And this is also looking like you were pointing out with 17. That looks like a breakout level, just based on how this pattern is set up right now. It looks like we're flagging a bit here. So 17, and we get that volume, we're taking off. This will probably end up in the 20s if the volume pours into it.
Okay, good stuff there on PHUN. I'm actually going to queue that up here and trade the pool. So we'll take a look at that right out of the open there and see how the stock is actually trading here today. Really good stuff, PHUN. Order flow trader wants to take a look at Root. Let's do that because this thing has been an absolute monster. I feel like we take a look at this every single day in some capacity. I got a chart error here. That's strange. No, the chart's working fine. Let's see if that's actually true here.
I mean, that was the dip to buy yesterday with Root. This thing, because on Friday, this thing went all the way up to almost just under 42.
Yeah, I'm not. Sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. I'm just going to talk. And then this yesterday morning, it sold off to just under 35. That was the dip to buy as it rocketed back up to over 43, and then just went sideways for the rest of the afternoon. This thing still has the short interest, so there's going to be more squeezing out of this, and then the shorts are going to probably just come right back in.
I mean, look at this on the daily. Look at this on the daily. This is comical. This is a vertical wall. I mean, we thought SMCI was going vertical. Man, this is even more vertical. This is crazy. First of all, order flow, I'd like to know how you're trading this. If you did have it long, what did you have it long from? How are you managing this position? I mean,
he might be using like fibs. This is traded pretty well on technicals.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you could look at the pullback yesterday as an example. We came down to the pre-market supply or demand zone from Friday, and found support there. And then So if you go to like a lower time frame, like you could say, like
I can't for whatever reason, like my chart is just not working on the lower time frames. Let me try and do it on trade the pool here.
Okay.
Here's Root.
He heard about it on pre-market prep. Yeah, because it was Root was just taking off like all month, last month.
Yeah, I mean this thing started right about $10. We're above $40 already.
Just squeezing. And I don't even know what the. I mean, they're an insurance company, as my understanding. I don't even know what the value of the company is, but it's definitely squeezing. So.
Order flow says he's looking for trading possibilities. I mean, I would wait for this to kind of settle out. I'm not, and taking a short on this doesn't seem to be a good idea either. This thing's just been absolutely ripping. Yeah, I don't know. Chart issues today. I got it, Lynn. I'm reporting it. I'm just as tired of them as you are. Believe me. So, okay. Go ahead.
As far as other trade ideas, I mean, we got some stocks that we have moving this morning off our scanners list. We could start going over those if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I actually want to start with one here that we did an exclusive on. We've talked about some of the exclusive recently. They've really been hitting. This one hasn't, or should I say hasn't yet. I want to see if this actually takes off in the regular market. GANX here, we did an exclusive, or we had some exclusive news this morning. They're going to be presenting at a conference. They have some good data. They have some good data around a Parkinson's treatment that they're working on. It did spike as soon as that news was released. It went negative here, which seems really strange. I don't see how the company is worth less with good data and actually presenting, but nonetheless, maybe just kind of a trading overreach here. Want to see what happens when the market actually opens. Have a pretty nice range here on GANX. What were some of the other ones that you want to take a look at? I'm guessing APGE is going to be one of them.
Yeah, this one's kind of interesting. They just had their earnings report, and they also announced phase 1 results. Little bit of a short interest here. It's just under 7 with 10.5 days to cover. So there's that DTC number that we're looking for. They do have 47.68 million shares. So not necessarily a low float that's going to easily get pushed around. But the fact that they have such a large cash position with a cash and their cash position being that this is a pharmaceutical company that is in development of drugs, they're going to be eating cash. But their cash runway goes into 2026. Which is pretty impressive. So their large cash position is interesting to me. Hopefully their drug doesn't eat too much into it. But these clinical trials are very pricey.
Yeah, and a huge move here for APGE here this morning. The stock was about $43 yesterday, currently printing 61. Did have a high of 68 earlier. So again, another huge range here on APGE. Looks like let me see here. Here's another one. Let me go back to looks like I've got my chart issues resolved, at least temporarily here. Here is AISP. Was this another one on your list? I'm guessing based on I'm guessing based on the fact that these all have catalysts. Airship AI Holdings. That's a pretty cool name. Airship
Buzzword.
AI. Buzzword. Airship AI Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced it has been awarded a contract with the Department of Justice for its Acropolis Enterprise sensor management video and data management platform. So this actually seems like this might be a little bit related to Joby and Archer, which we've talked about quite a bit in the past.
Kind of. I don't know really anything about this company. Just the headline there. They have a 19.4 million share float. I think they did no, they didn't do any reverse splits. So not a lot of boxes checked on this, but the news is pretty good. I haven't read too much into the news or how much this contract is worth. So I really couldn't give you some metrics on that, but this will be one worth watching, and I think this could see some more volatility. So this is going to be on the radar for trading.
Okay, now we already talked about Fun a little bit. Next one here is going to be Cassie. We've traded Cassie before. This has been another one off of the relative volume scanner. We've actually seen this get PRs and make some crazy runs. Looks like the same thing's happening here. Cassie Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company reported interim phase 1 data for its treatment of relapsed refractory indolent non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in China. So some tests in China, take that for whatever you will. This did trade just above 9. It's really, really sank. So this actually came back in, flagged around 750, and then took another leg lower here to about the 6 handle. Did find a little bit of support there at 6. So pretty decent range carved out here. This looking a little bit weak. We'll see if Cassie ends up getting going. Do you have anything else here on Cassie before I move on?
Just that they have an 11.2 million share float. That was phase 1 data that they were releasing, but I think the fact that it's attached to China just makes it less palatable.
I think that's kind of what I was thinking here too. I think that this is probably going to be a little bit weaker just because of the ties to China. But we'll see. We'll see how that ends up. Going here today. Life W, we've seen this one off of the scanner here a number of times. This looks like it's getting some action here in the pre-market. Remember, we did this yesterday. We actually sold off right around the open, had one nice little move, and it was kind of nothing. So I guess keep your eye on it, keep it on a back burner. I don't have a whole lot here on LIFW.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's moving this either. Maybe it's that they had an insider buy one of the CEO and director, John Ruiz. So that's really the only thing I think could maybe be moving this, but I'm not sure I'm interested in this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not either. LVTX, this is another one. This is Lava Therapeutics. This is another one that we've traded here before. We should be familiar with this ticker. Lava Therapeutic shares are trading higher after the company announced a $7 million payment because Pfizer achieved a clinical milestone for one of its drugs here. So you can see LVTX, this actually popped above 4. We came back in, we're beneath the VWAP, but not a whole lot. We're actually trading sideways higher than we were yesterday. You can see that we actually had some intraday volume that popped the stock yesterday. Now, the initial impulse move took us up to 645, 647. So definitely have some range in here if this gets wild. The one big thing that I want to see for LVTX here today is volume in the regular session. It's great that we have these pre-market pops, but I definitely want to see some of that volume carry over into the regular session here. That would allow us to trade this a little bit easier.
We haven't had too many good regular sessions with this. And when you look at that chart you have up there, we had 2 good regular ones, that initial pop, and then looks like yesterday. Other than that, it's been selling off in the regular session. And of course, we have some of those other names that constantly pop up because they're special with AI. BBAI, you mentioned LifeW, OCEA, and Coin all were moving pretty handily this morning. So I think those are worth watching as well.
Yeah, OCEA had a monster day yesterday. Congrats to all of you that booked gains on OCEA. I think there were a couple of people in here that booked some pretty big gains on that. So congrats for that. Awesome stuff. Thing about OCEA is that it's holding up here in the pre-market. We actually had a run at yesterday's intraday high where we were rejected. Part of me is interested to see if this can actually kind of take this off and move here today. Maybe a second day run here on OCEA. No position for me, but this is definitely one worth watching here. We've talked a little bit about Bitcoin here this morning. Some of the Bitcoin names up. CIFR, that's going to be a mining company. That's up a little bit here. Last one that I wanted to mention here is going to be Target. This is ticker TGT. Target shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 earnings and issued FY24 outlook. We do have the conference call currently going on. Actually had a really good question from a subscriber earlier regarding Target that I wanted to alert you guys to here real quick before we start. I actually had to ask this. I didn't even think about this, which I should have just known this off the top here. One of the things that's really great about Benzinga Pro is the ability to get some of the historical information, especially if you're doing it for a comparison basis. So here's an example here for the guidance for Target, right? You're looking at what some of the older guidance was. And what the customer noticed is that between 2020 and 2023, there's no guidance. And he said, why is that? And the reality, I actually reached out to my news desk and asked about that. This seems fairly obvious, but I just wanted to repeat it for everyone out there who might look at some of these things. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Target, like many other companies, halted their guidance but resumed providing it in 2023. So just keep in mind, if you're going over some historical stuff here, or you're looking for, how the stock did against some of its historical prints and all of that, just remind yourself. I know, COVID definitely in the past now, but remind yourself that some of these companies, especially retail companies, stopped giving guidance around COVID. There was just too much unpredictability. So I thought that was a good question here this morning. Figured I'd share it with the group. Doesn't really mean anything for the trade here today, but just something to keep in mind as you're doing your due diligence. 13, I also know that you mentioned BBAI real quick while we were kind of flipping around the tickers here. I noticed that after the move up yesterday, this actually did a good job holding it here in the pre-market. Looks like we have a pretty tight range right beneath VWAP. This actually doesn't look bad for a potential trade here today.
Yeah, I'd say probably it looks like about 430, somewhere in the 430s is where it could start to break down if it can't hold that. But there's other levels beneath that could provide support. I'm just going to wait and see what happens when we open. If we continue to hold these levels that it's trading at, it might see $5 again.
Okay. 2 minutes till showtime. I love this EKS. Anytime we can bring showtime into the live trading show, I'm going to be a big fan of that. Real quickly here, in those 2 minutes, I want to very quickly talk about Trade the Pool, giving us some stocks in play today. We talked about some of these stocks already. In fact, I think we hit all of these already. PHUN, resistance at 17, support at 1450. That one is one we're going to watch right out of the gate here. At least I am going to. By the way, stock at $16 right now, so we'll see where that goes. Tesla, resistance at 190, support at 182. Stock's currently at 182.93, so right down there at support. That might be one to trade as well. And then Target, we talked about them doing earnings here. Resistance at 171 and support at 163 here. Target at 166 just about. So pretty good there, right in the middle of that range. We are about to open. Let me get this off. Let's get it rolling, folks.
Yeah, Crow, absolutely. Coke, multi-day runner. We just popped up to almost 10 just before we opened there. This one probably still has some tank left in the gas. We'll see.
Tank left in the gas. I do that all the time. I love that. Means that you are a human being and not a robot. Here is Coke really quick. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. PHUN.
Yep.
Like this is moving here out of the gate.
It's trying to break 1640. There it goes. Oh, this thing is rocketing. This thing wants 17.
I kind of wanted to jump on that. But a little too late.
All right. Oh, look, there goes 17. It's taken off. Goodbye.
Mystery Man. Hey, fellas. Sorry I've been away for so long. No apologies necessary. We're glad you're back. Don't ever get an on-brand laptop charger from Walmart. It's junk garbage. Sounds like you had a bad experience there, but I appreciate that looking out there.
Oh, and OCEA is going too. Let's take a look. Yep. That had a nice setup in pre-market and from yesterday, into the close yesterday.
Look, PHUN right to 18. Maybe I should have chased that there. Well, we're going to stick to a process. OCEA, keep going here. Great call, guys.
Looks like DWAC is selling off. It's doing opposite to PHUN, but the next level I have for DWAC to the downside would be 46.75. If it doesn't kind of get a bid right here, that would be the next level I have.
Okay. Interesting that these are going in different directions.
APGE, there it goes. APGE is sorry to interrupt you. It's
fine.
It's moving. Looking for the pre-market high of 69.76. This one has a much larger float, so this won't push around as easily as some of these other ones that are closer to 10 million shares. Okay, looks like DWAC's trying to come back up. Oh, fun. What a great morning trade that was. But it did the thing. That's all I needed to see. Moving on.
Okay, still looking around here. Sorry, handling some stuff here.
Hey, no problem. AISP is recovering from the selling out of the gate. It could go higher here. The pre-market high is 344. Here it goes.
Which ticker? Sorry, I'm behind.
AISP.
Here. AISP. Trying to do too much here.
No problem. Oh, it's a 370.
Oh man, that did rip. That did rip some size here at 362. Also, it looks like they're bringing in. Yeah, they brought in some size at 355. Really sank that right to the VWAP. Wow.
Yeah. OCEA made new highs comparatively to the close yesterday and the pre-market today. Now they're all selling. Well, AISP not yet, but looks like Root wants to go higher, but it's still in the consolidation from this morning.
Okay, sorry, just finishing up some stuff here.
No worries. I'll just keep talking.
Yep.
When I see something. SQQQ is really starting to move. So that kind of makes me want to take a look at Apple, see how they're doing.
Okay.
And Tesla.
I think I should be done there. Sorry about that, folks. Apple,
hey, no worries.
Coming off the bottom.
Okay, what's going on here? Looks like Tesla is going to go to 180.
Let's take a look here on Tesla.
So with Apple, this could probably
Tesla not resolving for me.
Yeah, it took a second with mine. Apple is trading up. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens with Apple when we get to 174. Let's because that was a support level yesterday during the regular session. So if that is resistance today, then I think 174 is going to be your top.
God, I am having all kind. Is my like VPN on or something? Like I'm having quoting issues in all these different programs here. Sorry, 13.
Of course, that's okay.
I'm trying to catch up. This is wild.
It's an absolute spectacle today. Looks like CASI is getting ready to go a little bit higher if it can hold this level here. No, it's going down. No, not. We'll see. This has to hold this level, and then we might get a break over 7. DWAC went all the way down to 46.65, it looks like. And now we're trying to reverse. Jonathan Cooper mentioning BIAF. Let's take a look at this.
OCEA, this actually might be curling here. OCEA might be curling. I want to get that.
Sorry, BIAF is halted to the upside. I don't know what the news is on this one. Let me see what I can find. Probably phase 1 results or something like that.
They report accelerating sales growth of 3, but this was 815.
Is that sales growth? Okay.
Reports growth of 375% in CyPath lung. Okay, so sales growth of CyPath lung, yeah. And that did pop and halt here. Look at fun after that big move up. Wow. So this is why I'm glad we don't chase, man. Look at this. This thing went up to 18 and instantly reversed.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what I'm missing here. Guys, I know in the chat here. I'm sorry. Marie, I woke up this morning to double my daily goal. That was better than my coffee to wake me up. Congratulations. You're starting the day ahead of everybody else, Marie. We're going to give you a register. We're going to give you a register ring for that. We're going to start your morning off right here. PHUN looks like this is going lower. Weren't we talking about DWAC being diverging from that? Okay, now they're going the same direction. Let me flip back over to trade the pool. Looks like I've got my feeds resolved there. I'll keep flipping over I'll keep flipping through things from the scanner here, but I want to be ready to execute a trade if we see a setup here.
Viking Therapeutics opened lower, and then it's now it's trading up. This one has been really, really wild, so it could continue to be wild. You just have to look at what happened yesterday. It was up and down, up and down.
Carmen saying every single stock in my longer term folio is red today. Those are the brutal days. Sometimes you just got to manage those trades here. And actually, like if you take a look at snow, hang on a sec, 13. We take a look at snow here. This is, I was telling you, I wanted 3 closes above the 200 day. We got it. This thing's been insanely weak. In fact, if we keep selling off here, I'm going to have to just book this loss. Yep. In my main account, I took this really small. This was very similar to the Pan W trade, but I booked that here for a loss. So we are out snow, small loss, only lost about $70 there. Target is ripping apparently.
Yep, and Fun and DWAC are trying to recover.
Okay, let's
see. OCEA, it did get a little bit higher than the those levels we were talking about 20 cents, and it's going higher now. Woohoo! Go OCEA.
Okay, PHUN coming up to this VWAP here.
APGE looks like it wants to try to it's still trying to go higher and take out the pre-market highs, but like I said, large float, not easy to do.
Here is APGE. Look like it's trying to take that first candle out. Of course, snow bounced as soon as I sold it, so there you go. I'm going to take that off the screen. That's just going to make me upset.
Yeah, I don't want you throwing a new computer.
No, I'm not going to throw it. I don't throw computers. Fastly, that's a nice little move down here today. I got one more small ad on Fastly, and then that's probably it. Because that formation here is breaking. I'll show you what I'm taking a look at here. Here's on Fastly. It looks like this actually wants to kind of roll over and break this support and go lower. That's a no-go for me if that happens. That is a no-go for me.
Fun went all the way back up to VWAP. It's seeing resistance there.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to see it take out VWAP. It definitely had some resistance there. Not able to get above it.
Viking is Smoke Tuna is mentioning BLCN. I'm going to take a look at that. Volcon. Oh, okay. This one we've traded before.
Yeah,
that
looks
one
like
had a pop.
this was a recent one. We traded this recently.
Yeah, I mean there was trades yesterday. There were trades a few days ago last week.
OCEA looks like that halted, went higher, and now is coming lower here on OCEA. Let me confirm that that's the case.
DWAC.
No, I have no halt here for this. Looks like just maybe a gap in some of the charting there. What about DWAC?
It's recovering.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I'm getting all types of charting errors here. It doesn't have all the data. I don't know if I can really switch as fast as we're switching here this morning. 13. I might have to kind of slow this down.
No problem. I will be a little bit more selective.
Like I just can't flip through them because it looks like I'm losing some of the bars here. PHUN right back up to that VWAP here. Let's see if it actually takes this out.
CASI. We mentioned that one this morning. Yes, we did. This one's halted to the downside right now. It looks like Fun's trying to get ready to go again here. Uh-oh.
See if we can get above VWAP on Fun.
The IPGE is breaking down now.
Lots of red out there. Portillo's, man. It's official. It's official at this point. I am sorry for even mentioning Portillo's. This has been an extremely bad trade from the beginning. It has done nothing but go down. Management has been a complete letdown. The stock has done nothing but continue to sell off. They've done 2 financings after they said they're not going to do financing. I'll be honest, folks. I'm sorry for mentioning this one. I'm still long. I haven't closed my position. I haven't taken a loss on this. But I did not think it was going to go like this for Portillo's. This is really, really bad. And we're at the point now where almost every single day, this stock is a disappointment. You can see here on the 15-minute chart, we are actually lower than that earnings pop. We gave all of that back in a matter of a couple of days. Just horrific performance from this company. This, to me, I think as far as like a buy, this is a no touch until this can show you that they can get something together here. So I apologize for even bringing this one up. Probably going to be another loss on this investment. We'll see. It is official. Okay, Target. This one is ripping here. This one going higher here on Target. This actually looks like new highs are on deck here. PHUN rejected again at that VWAP.
Yep, still getting rejected. But you know, it's just kind of. I mean, when you look at the pre-market, it's still kind of sideways. So it needs to kind of work through this this area a little bit more. It had a nice pop, but then when it came back down, it got right back into that troublesome zone. So let's see what happens here.
Bitcoin 68,900 on the futures. That looking like that's going to try to take out 69K on Bitcoin. In fact, let's take a look at some of those Bitcoin names. How are they doing? Look at this. Look at Mara. I should have been watching this. Took my eye off Bitcoin for 1 sec. Look at these moves. All of these tradable.
DWAC came back, and Fun seems to be trying to make its way back above VWAP now. Getting the volume. Then William's saying Lunar. I mean, they must have had some additional news, maybe another contract or something if they're moving. Because they already landed.
Lunar actually looking pretty decent. I would like to see more volume here, but pretty decent action. Pretty decent price action, I should say.
All right, Fun's trying to break back out. Trying to get over 17. I mean, right now it's trying to make its way through 616. There it goes. and about 1680 is the next level, and then after that we're off to attack 17 again. Looks like DWAC's just a little bit shy, about 30 cents shy of getting to 50 and then coming back in. So these two could bounce around for a little bit here until they choose a direction to break out. Currently, the support for DWAC is about 46.75, and the resistance is at 50.
We're right up towards resistance then.
Mm-hmm. Really close. And PHUN, they had a pop almost to 17, and then hey, those trade to pool 17 level. They weren't wrong.
Nope, they were not wrong at all. OCEA looks like this traded back down towards its VWAP, trying to bounce here. I have some size at 485 if that can get taken off. An OCEA 485, is that high from earlier? No, 490s is the high from earlier. Jay mentioned an Abercrombie and Fitch. This stock goes up every day. Stock goes up every single day. It is an amazing chart. I mean, this daily chart, look at this. Look at that. This has been one of the best stocks.
Looks like OCEA is trying to go higher, like you were saying. It's taking out that level.
Entry for that one though. Here is OCEA. Let's see if we can take that level off here. 498 going to be that high.
Certainly trying. Looks like SQQQ top ticked on 11, came back in a little bit, but I think this probably ends up going a little bit higher just based on the formation there. Oh, yes, Apple. Keep going down. That's what I like to see. BTC ripping? It sure is. AV. Okay, so Krutik, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I was just talking to Ryan about this stock earlier. We had mentioned this one a couple of years ago when the Ukraine Russia war first broke out, because they were getting big contracts for their Switchblade drones, and this now seems to be probably the best drone play that's out there right now. This thing has been absolutely ripping.
This is definitely best in breed for drone play. I was telling you earlier when we were talking about this, I saw this stock, I think for the first time in 2015. Stock was like $30.
Wow.
This is without a doubt your leader here in drones. Oh my God, what is going on here? I mean, Fastly plunging. I just noticed this on another screen on volume here too.
OCEA
so made there. OCEA, let's check that out. This
it hit 5, yeah.
Came right back to the VWAP. Boy, this is this thing too fast for me. This is not, and I'll tell you what. The other thing is not having a good day here. In really any account. So I'm not gonna take some of this riskier stuff here.
AISP is dropping hard.
Lots of stuff dropping hard here.
Yeah. The one with Fastly. So I'm gonna take a little quick look at this here, because this looks like I think we were mentioning this earlier in one of the other happy hour sessions. The longer it's down here, is not good.
Nope.
And it'll eventually fall through the floor if it doesn't trade back up. So that's kind of what's happening here with Fastly. The next bottom area that I have is in about 1161.
Yeah, things not good across the board here. Not good across the board.
BIAF. Let's see. That's not having too bad of a day. It's trying to recover.
Tesla actually might be trying to bounce here today.
Lynn and Randy, I think you need to tap Dr. Seuss. Get a book written. I'll read it. I'll read it to my kids.
iNod at the lows, Netflix at the lows, Apple looking like it's going to go lower, Amazon at the lows.
And
we're going lower today, folks. We're going lower today. Lots of weakness out there. SPY at the lows, Q's at the lows. Tesla really the only thing holding in here. Nvidia looks like this is rolling over. AMD near the lows.
Nvidia.
My scanner is blank. Yeah. Yep.
I'm just kind of looking for some setups right now. Things are, you know, we had that morning wackiness. Now I just want to see some setups.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try reloading trade the pool. Anytime I switch a stock, I'm getting a disconnected bar, which is gonna make trading completely impossible. So let me see if I can restart that and get a we've got no data on this chart. Man, oh man, we are proper slumming it out here today. Holy smokes.
There's a company I think we previously traded. It looks like they have earnings today. HSDT, Helios Medical Technologies. This one, I don't know what's going on with this one, but it's no volume in it, but it had a pop, so it just flashed on my radar as all.
Here, let me try close and trade the pool here.
OCEA still. Oh, look at that thing go. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna go back over 5. It looks like. And here we go. There it is.
Okay, let's see if we can get this fixed up here.
Looks like BIF is still trying to push up. Had a high in intraday session today, just about 20 minutes ago of 350. Looks like VLCN is setting up to go higher. Not really moving that much, but it's got a nice chart formation.
All right, let's see if this is any better here. VLCN. Brett saying that OCEA is traded to float. I'll be honest, OCEA looks like the best of the
it's going.
Opportunities here today.
That one's going.
That one's going. I'm just late to the party.
We have Fun and DWAC isn't sold off yet, but Fun is selling off right now, going back down to the 65 EMA on the 5-minute chart. Not a lot of things.
No, I don't see setup. So the OCEA was the good trade there, but frankly, I feel like you had to be in that.
Yeah, that last break of 5 that I was mentioning before, it just did it. That was the one. I don't know how high this goes. I don't even have levels set up for this. I should start doing that. Since this seems to be the one to trade today. Okay. Let's take a look here.
CA just ripping. Absolutely ripping.
Yeah, so 565 next level, and we're almost there. Well, maybe. Okay, 555. That's better. Didn't have I wasn't zoomed in enough.
I'm just rolling through my scanner on my other screen here. I got nothing. I mean, I got nothing in terms of new opportunities here. Holy smokes.
It's okay. There's short opportunities. I'm sure people are shorting the hell out of some of these.
Yeah.
BDAI is slowly coming back. Nice. We'll take a look at that in just a tick here. I'm going to just finish up with these levels on OCEA. Okay, that should be good enough for now. So
Bitcoin's still running.
OCA went up to 550. That's just beneath one of my levels I have, so pretty good there. If we break through 555, next level I have is 370. I'm sorry, not 370, 730. That was a little dyslexic moment there.
CDIO being mentioned by Smoke Tuna.
Oh, don't look now, but Roots higher. It's broke the high from yesterday. We're up to 43.58. This thing is silly.
Which stock is this? God.
Root. Jane, I am still in Zim. They have a ceasefire deal that they're waiting for Hamas to accept. That could put downside pressure on the stock. I haven't added anything since going beneath 11 or 12 for that matter. I want to wait to see where there's a bottom in this. I expect there should be some bottoming happening soon, but if not, then I'll just start considering a stop out position, and I probably won't let this go too far beneath 10, but I don't want to get shaken out either. I still think that there's more news to this.
I mean, they're still attacking ships, right? So that's not. I don't think this is over. I don't think this is over.
And they have earnings coming up too, which will likely reveal how much they are able to negotiate as a result of the recent shipping rates.
Yeah, those rates really drive this one. All right, looking around for some more stuff. NVAX is ripping. I don't see more entry here.
Yeah, one final thing with Zim. I was saying that trade with selling around above 12 or 13 and buying under 12 or down in the 11s. That trade was only going to work until it doesn't, and it's starting to look like it might not be working out right now. But I need some confirmation of that first, because it could just be one of those things that it just shakes you out and then it starts to go again. So just waiting for a bottom.
Faloona, try to save the caps for just the tickers, please. Please.
AISP consolidating. Looks like it's starting to move back up towards VWAP right now.
Actually, this might be one to watch here. If this can take VWAP, especially if it can do it on volume, we might actually have a setup here. Blue, I know you're watching real here. Looks like this is still pushing. We need another setup on that one.
Fun is probably going lower if it doesn't hold these levels here. If it gets beneath $15, could accelerate selling. Otherwise, it's needing to bounce. Root going higher. Ridiculous. DWAC coming back. COCH might be setting up to go higher. It's trying to get back above VWAP. But
oops.
I
totally pressed the wrong button there. Not what I was going for. COCH looks like it was rejected at that VWAP. OCEA looks like we're right at the VWAP here. Okay, good stuff on OCEA. Let's see if this reclaims. We actually broke beneath the VWAP here. Maybe try this a little bit if we can reclaim that. I've got that VWAP 497. Is that what that is? 487. Did you like that, Jane? Got that full screen surprise there. Yikes.
Yeah, I'm looking for OCEA to get some support here.
Yeah.
And start to move back up.
I actually might just try it right in here. Let's see. Oh.
Certainly getting that volume. Looks like it's not having the greatest success at the moment. What else? It's crazy that Root's still making new highs. As far as APGE goes, if we can't hold 52.25, probably headed towards probably headed under 50. OCEA getting some strength here, trying to break 5. Fun broke down beneath 15. Next level I have for that one is 14.
Bring up fun here. Is DWAC still following the same pattern? Let's see.
It's bouncing around.
Similar, but yeah, DWAC's bouncing more.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, it hasn't gone down to 46.75 like it did earlier, but you know, it's just in this consolidation between 46.75 and 50. OCEA still trying to get above 5. It looks like it's, you know, like it's working.
BBAI, this is a nice clue. If this can take out 450 here, definitely some size there. We're above the VWAP. Would like to see the volume expand there. So maybe on BBAI, hopefully that glass survived 13. OCEA, this definitely a move off the VWAP here. That was a good setup. That was a great call there.
Yeah, I think it's setting up to go even higher too. I think if it can break through that 550 high that it put in, it could be well into the 6s, maybe the 7s. Root now over 44. Unbelievable. Looks like Fastly's recovering.
Good deal. AISP, interestingly enough, this looks like this came back up towards the VWAP and stopped there. Maybe we have a move above EI or above VWAP here. Crow on this one, AISP.
APGE looks like it's selling is starting to slow down. Look for a potential reversal around 53, maybe just under 53. VLCN trying to come back. OCEA, man, this thing is just setting up to go.
Nice scalp on AISP, Mark. I like that you got out before the VWAP here. Let's see if it actually takes the VWAP out. This one is interesting. I know it's been rejected here. It looks like this wants to try and go, honestly. It looks like this wants to try taking that VWAP out.
Okay, here we go with OCEA. There's a fight happening with this one.
AISP. Okay, well, we got two things going on right now. We got AISP right at the VWAP. Looks like this is trying to go here. I guess I'm not in either of these, so I can bring up OCEA. That one. Too. My VWAP looks, it's a little bit higher here on Thinkorswim. Let me compare it here real quick.
BBAI is looking good right now.
Yeah. BBAI, that was Kalu was on that one earlier. Let's take a look at BBAI. BBAI definitely pushing away from that VWAP. And you guys, I'm definitely a little bit slow today, but you guys are on top of it. So I'm just going to keep rolling through some of these tickers here.
It's okay. Jack and roll.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing it, but Chad is. So.
All right. APGE looks like it's starting to bounce. So that could be a good sign for this one. Slow moving though. AISP is making its way through, trying to make its way through the VWAP. OCEA still trying to grind up to that 550 level. I'm sorry, I'm moving so fast.
I can't keep up on the broker. I just can't flip them.
That's fine. Don't even worry about looking at all these. I'm kind of just mentioning this for Chad as well, since we're all looking at this stuff. Fun is trying to make its way back up to 15. Volume's not looking too great, but I'm not going to rule it out. BBAI still moving up. Coke is consolidating still. Zim had a little pop to 1108, but right back beneath 11 again, so nothing to see there.
Voodoo mentioning Boeing here. Let's take a look at Boeing real quick. Voodoo saying Boeing, I wouldn't chase this push. Okay, so Boeing is trading up here today. Really nice move actually today. I wouldn't chase this push. wait through the reversal period, look for a pullback for entry. So if we take a look here at the daily chart, you're basically saying we're still in this consolidation area here. You really want this to kind of pull back. The level that so far that looks like it's held has been this 200, right? I've got this at maybe 199, 200 here on Boeing. This looks like really good support in here. This would be that pullback.
On a daily chart for Boeing, we have the 500-day SMA at just under 190, and the 50 is about to cross the 200 to the downside, which is a death cross, and that kind of gives me pause on this one. I think the big level to watch for is it's looking like it's 197. If that breaks down, then we're going to the 500-day SMA.
So you're looking right in here. You're looking at this yellow line going through this dark blue line here for the death cross, and then your next target, if that happens, probably 190 here.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. That's good charting on Boeing.
But I think, with Boeing, one of the things, and this goes for a lot of defense stocks too, one of the things that came out from China was their defense spending. They're increasing it by somewhere over 7%. We could see some industrial and defensive stocks start to move back up to match that defensive spending increase. I don't have numbers for that, but it's just something to consider. I think that some of the dips that we're going to be seeing in some of these industrial and defensive stocks are probably going to end up being worth buying.
Yeah, and
Boeing, Lockheed,
and actually, Jay is saying here that anytime Boeing has dipped under 200, that dip has gotten bought. So it looks like that's saying something very similar there.
Yeah, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman,
RTX. Yeah, that was man. This was such a good buy. Yeah,
look at that formation right there, just today. That's cool looking.
And actually, this formation here on the daily is very resembles an island. I got the low of that at what, 88? Yeah, 88 in there. So maybe this comes back in a little bit and goes higher here. RTX, this actually looks like a pretty bullish daily chart on RTX. That exclusive we talked about earlier, GANX, maybe this is finally bottomed. I don't think it's going to go again, but maybe this is bottom. Volume is pathetic on this name. It's just nothing but sells. PHUN, maybe this is curling off the bottom.
It's coming back up. It's up above 15. It needs to get above 1550, where the 65 EMA is on the 5-minute chart. That was previously support, and now it's turned resistance. I need to see it start closing above that and get back to VWAP before I feel comfortable about this one again. This could be bear flagging.
AVAV might be helping the defense names. That's a good point, Jay. That is a good point. ENCP being mentioned by Lynn and Randy. Looks like that is trading up here. This looks pretty thin. Huge spread on this name, 20 cents more. AISP, this trade ended up working, by the way. This little move through the VWAP here actually back tested the VWAP and is trying to go higher. That trade worked. That BBAI might be coming back to the VWAP here. Let's see if we get another setup there.
That slow mover, APGE, did that had a nice bounce off that area just under 53. So that one's doing pretty well.
Good morning, Sydney. Looks like Sydney's looking at ADIL. This is kind of sold off today, but probably stopped. This maybe the selling's done here on ADIL, former runner here.
To me, this looks like it might be headed lower. This is like a bear pennant out of the open. You see how we just dropped and now we're kind of consolidating. We're probably gonna the way that these typically resolve is after this consolidation, we see the next move down.
The one thing that I'm seeing here is that it looks like the MACD histogram is about to go positive on that smoke tuna bottom formation, and those signal lines have kind of stopped their pitching down. They've really kind of evened out, but no position in ADO. We'll watch this one.
I'll level with you here on this one. If we can start closing above 250, then that kind of eliminates the bear case here.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to your point, we'll see if we get it closed there. Mystery Man, take care of yourself. Wisdom, take care of yourself.
Bye, folks.
Lauren, taking a look at Mara still. That's going to be Marathon Digital on that Bitcoin move here. Have resistance around 26.7. Yeah, it hasn't been able to get over that. That's from the top of this stick, isn't it? Just about 3 cents off that.
We missed that mention that WISP put out there with VLCN that popped to new intraday highs.
AISP, this might be going for some more highs here on AISP.
New highs in SQQQ.
ENCP halted to the downside. Yeah, that one felt a little thin.
Yeah, INOD is also coming back in. I don't know if you saw my post about INOD yesterday, but this
No, I
looks
don't
like,
think so.
when you have time, I think it's worth a look. I think this might be going lower. If you take a look at the daily chart.
Here, let me bring this up on a larger
Sure.
one. We've talked about INOD quite a bit here. Let me right here. Boom. Now we'll get INOD. Boom. Okay, what are you seeing here, 13?
Well, that 500-day is constantly getting harassed lately, and typically when that happens, if it eventually will give way if it doesn't start to move back off that level. So we need to see some more upside in this. Otherwise, I think it's falling through and headed lower to probably under $6. So I'm going to stop myself out of this one, and if it does go lower into lower sixes or under $6. That is when I think it'll be a much better buy. The thing is that if this company reports a 30 million quarter this year, it's going to go right back up to double digits.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're saying here. When are those earnings?
Well, they just had earnings recently.
They just got it out of the way. Yeah. So we're talking about it for the current quarter, which is not due till May, right? Yeah. So we got time on that. Okay, got it. Good stuff.
Got the plan there for this one, but I do think it's looking like it's going lower first.
Love it. Love it, and you're right here. I mean, see the one thing that I would be cautious of here, this break beneath the 500-day. The last couple of times that we did that, we rebounded fiercely right after it. But to your point here, if this breaks down, that I don't know where this is going to settle. Maybe right in here, $5.
Yeah, and under under 6 is just a guess because I don't have an exact amount. OCEA is
and remember there was a short report attack on that one. ASIP, by the way, back down to the VWAP. This actually might be a spot for it. We'll take a look at OCEA here.
This one looks like it's about to go. Just needs to get continue to get that volume, and then we can push through 550. And SQQQ still going higher, but it's pulling back at the moment. Root looks like it's just consolidating, maybe flagging a bit before it takes. I mean, let's just say Root goes to 50. Okay, I'm just going to put that out there now.
I mean, it probably is going to test that tomorrow, 13. Like we're not even like making these big predictions here. This thing's been vertical.
Yeah,
it's been absolutely vertical.
That is the squeeze of the year so far.
Yeah, I think so.
I got to ask Tom about that because he was on Big Lots when that was squeezing, and that was squeezing just perfectly too. But I got to ask him about this other one, about Root, and see if what he has thoughts on that one or not.
AISP looks like this might be bouncing off the VWAP.
It's trying to get support. I don't like those top wicks there. But this looks like maybe if it can hold these levels, let's see if it holds 3 for the next 5 to 15 minutes. It could try again to take out what it's been running into. What is it? 330s, 340. This just has to hold those levels.
And actually, the Captain Yog, interesting handle there. SMCI is the squeeze of the year. You know what? I think I agree with that. SMCI. This thing was crazy. I mean,
that shorted?
Root's chart is more vertical. Yeah, that's a good. You know what though?
That's the only thing I'm saying is I know Root was a short squeeze. Was SMCI a short squeeze? I didn't know that it was.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really have the days to cover, but it still had 10-12% of its float shorted, and as it moved up, it gained. But maybe not. It had a huge move. That move was crazy. But you're right. I mean, the short interest more prevalent in Root, a lot more prevalent.
I don't think that SMCI was a squeeze as much as it was just the big AI play next to NVIDIA.
No, I'm with you on that one. I think you're right.
The software side, probably. Still looking to see if OCEA can take this these levels out. It has a pretty good formation here. Just need to get a little bit more volume.
On which one? Sorry?
OCEA.
OCEA, yeah. Oh, and by the way, AISP. So that one didn't work here. You were saying 3, right? It had to hold 3. It did not. Yeah. And now we're going lower here. So let's see where AISP settles. That actually still might set up again. OCEA was the other one that we're kind of mentioning here and waiting for it to. It looks like it's tightening up a little bit here. And it's going to try and break out of this formation.
Yeah, it's just trying to hold 5. I think at the moment right now, and as long as it does that, it should make that move up to 550 and through it. But we also need the volume to keep stay where it is and also expand a bit. CASI, is this bottoming? Not sure. DWAP looks like it's setting up to make another push to 50. Fun. It's getting rejected at that level that I was talking about, the 65.
OCEA is going.
Perfect.
OCEA is going here, 35. Wow, they just ate that size. Wow. Perfect. This is going for the highs. I probably should have just bought
550. 550. Well, it's running into 540. There's some size there.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say 550, not far, but there's some size here at 540.
It's okay. I think it's gonna. There's a real fight going on here. But I'm out now. I'm not going to play for that break. It could, with the market getting hit like it is today, I'm just not going to risk that. I mean, if it goes up,
I'm with you on that.
If it goes up, I'll just take the profit, and then it can do whatever it wants after that. It's trying to still break through 540. Bears are saying bet. Route 45.
Yeah, look, Captain, this is the stuff that makes me think, and it's bad when this happens over the weekend. So frustrating. Got in OCEA 195 on Friday, stopped out at the low of day at 182, and then you watch today and yesterday how this is the most frustrating thing. When you get stopped out and then the trade works, it's like the market, you feel like that the market is after you, and it's not. Like, that's just not accurate. But it feels that way, and it's you had some of those.
I've had so many of those.
It's just
like the price is just kind of trading right where your position is. Yep. It's not going up, it's not going down, but you're just like, I need you to make a move, otherwise I'm going to have to get out of this thing, and then the move to the downside happens.
Yeah, and that's that's how it goes.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. We all have some of those. It messes with your emotions, the whole 9 yards.
OCEA, it couldn't.
Market Sniper says I have those all the time. So glad I'm in listening mode. Got OCEA at 510. Okay, well you're still up on that.
Yeah, he picked it up just when it had that quick spike down, and now it's recovering. That was
speaking of quick spike down. Who's trading Tesla? Tesla here moving to the lows on volume. This volume actually expanding here. 180. Let's queue up some of those spots. I actually think I have some of those spots on a chart here. Let me pull that up real quick. Tesla, boom. Looking for some stuff, man. Market looks like this might take another leg lower here. God, this sell-off. Where's this sell-off been?
Well, it was only a matter of time.
By the way, so we talked earlier, Tesla trade the pool had 182 as their support. We waved goodbye to that a little while ago. 180 support coming up here. Someone else mentioned that. AISP, by the way, right through 3, that's moving here. I tell you what, you take these micro caps off your screen for 1 second and the move happens. I literally took a look at Tesla to try to chart that. Try saying Tesla and charting fast at the same time. You can really embarrass yourself there. It's all right. I can take it.
No, you need to wear a Tesla shirt now and have just a big old Tesla symbol so you can say, look, check out my Tesla.
Oh man. Okay. We need to get this shirt business off the ground, Joe. I feel like we've got a ton of really good ideas. We could really get the short business off the ground, or the shirt business off the ground.
Oh, we're having fun here on a red day.
We're trying to, dude. It is definitely a red day. Definitely a red
day. This time. I'll take a look at it and see here. Maybe I'd say for the moment it looks that way. We just need to keep this volume going and not top wick like we have the last few visits up here.
That 325 was that spot that it stopped at. The volume shelf really kind of falls off at 318. 318, that last number where there's some pretty decent volume.
If this can get up over 340, 345, I think we're testing new. We're testing the intraday high.
Richard saying goodbye on GAN X here. So it looks like you took this off the bottom. Maybe that did bottom here. Not good on you for waiting. We'll see if that keeps moving up here. Volume less than impressive here. Kalu still on BBAI. That's moving to the low here. We'll see if that finds a bottom. Tradable bottom anyway. AISP continuing to the upside here. 318 right now. There's 320 up. I got some size at 325.
Yeah,
logo for the shirt. Don't shirt the market. Where Sydney asking if Carmen will carry our shirts in the store. Carmen might want the select few good ones, and then we'll see. We can make some deals happen here. 13, we got to do this, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going to text you this weekend and talk about getting this business off the ground.
We'll do. We'll pour a beer out and kind of just have a good time figuring out how we're going to make these things look. It'll be good.
I mean, we've got so many good one-liners. Like,
I still want to do the plate liquor one.
Do it.
I still want to do a plate liquor shirt.
Yeah, me too.
That was just like one of the best phrases that I've ever heard out of happy hour chat. I shirted the bed.
Hey, any of you Mac users out there, where's the setting to not lock if I'm watching something? Let me know if you come across that. I'm basically trying to watch CNBC, and my computer keeps going back to the lock screen and stopping the stream. And there's got to be an option for that, but because I don't know it off the top of my head, let me know if you guys have that. You lost me at Mac. Oh, that's funny. Wes, Ryan, what are your thoughts on NXU charging stations? I don't know what you're asking me. Thoughts on NXU charging stations?
Is there news?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, NXU is an 80-cent stock. This is the research, development, and manufacturing of a scalable battery pack.
This is the one that can charge Cybertrucks.
The company is making 15-minute charge times possible. So the 15-minute charge time is definitely going to be helpful, but I mean, like, does anyone still want to, like, when I go to the gas station, I want to be out of the gas station in under 5 minutes. So you're telling me that even with some of the new technology, I still have to wait at a charging station for 15 minutes? AISP is going, by the way. Holy cow. Holy cow. My thoughts on this one, I'm going to make it real simple. My thoughts on this one, I don't think this is a mover. NXU, I think it's kind of junky.
I mean, if what
look
they can
at
do,
AISP.
I see. We just talked about it.
We were looking for things to trade. We finally got one here. Now, I've been a little bit slower here today. I'm sorry I didn't hit this one, but hey, at least we're on top of it.
With NXU, I mean, what they can do and improve the charging is something. I mean, that I don't know how great that is. I don't even know. The thing that I am worried about is what does that do to the battery packs? Are they able to handle that, accelerated charging? I mean, there's just a lot more question marks that come up with this than answers for me. Let's see here. Yeah, AISP just, it went all the way up close to the intraday highs, and now we're back down here to VWAP. Same thing with OCEA. That one is selling off now. Great trades, though. Looks like everything is starting.
Oh my God. Look at that pull.
Yeah.
And back down. This is why we take those gains on these movers here, folks. This is why you take those gains. By the way, this went right to VWAP.
OCEA, I mean, this might get bought up here. But, just be careful because downside.
OCEA looks like folks are exiting as if the theater is on fire. Carmen, you have a way with words.
Well, it
Have
looks
a
like
way with words.
they're busting out the extinguishers.
You couldn't click the button fast enough. That's how it goes sometimes. Market another leg down here. Just really, really rough day for the market. Lynn and Randy, you're talking about SQQQ. That is having a nice day here. SOXS, that's the other. This is the one we really want to wait for this to reverse split. Really want this to reverse split.
Apple's knocking on the door of 170.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
First time since October.
Amazon at lows.
Let me look at my watch list, see what
Tesla at lows. Let's take a look at NVIDIA.
This is a big day. I don't think I've seen all the Mag 7s down over 1% at the same time in a long while.
In a long time, yeah.
Yeah. Tesla really getting hammered, down almost 5%. NVIDIA down 1%. Netflix down 2.5%. Microsoft 2.3%. Meta 1.6%. Google 1.6%. Apple 2.85% down.
Apple leading the way down. When was the last time you saw that?
Well, Tesla's leading the way down with the largest change in price, but it seems like Apple and Tesla are hand in hand.
True. Yeah, Apple and Tesla are the worst here today.
Apple wanted to, work with EVs, so there they go. They're leading the way down.
Well, they said they scrapped their project, and it's still sunk it.
Yeah. Well, because it's what we were talking about yesterday in happy hour. They need something else because and now you have their big money maker having a problem in China. Their iPhones. So they really need to give us a roadmap of some kind of growth prospects or what they or something for the future, because as of now they're just a cell phone and computer company, and that's all they've got going on. They're not the headsets aren't great. They're not doing cars. They're late to the AI game. We need a positive from Apple.
Yeah, and real quick, Jay, you've been on this all morning since the beginning of the show here today. We haven't really highlighted it because the bank trade has been kind of boring. Banks are mostly green, and in fact, I think earlier today, weren't you mentioning JPM? List those banks you were mentioning earlier. I don't want to misquote you here, but I know JP Morgan was one of them. That's actually strong here today. Goldman Sachs, more of an investment bank, still strong here today. Wells Fargo, strong. Citigroup, strong. Bank of America, strong. So all these banks pretty strong here today. Jay, you were on this from the morning. What are you thinking here for a trade?
John asking, isn't it a good time to buy when prices are down for the day? Yes, you kind of want to get those buy those dips, but you got to be certain that it's not going to go lower. So it takes a little bit of analysis to make sure you're not getting in when the price is still due to drop some more.
And what's down? And that's the other thing I would ask, John. What's down? Because take a look, for example, at SMCI. Okay, SMCI, this stock moved when it really started to move from $360 to over $1,000. So the fact that it's down here, it's down to $990, this is still a triple almost from where it really kind of broke out. So I don't know that this is necessarily just going to bounce right here. I think that's what 13's saying about making sure that the catalyst or the potential bounce spots or so you can actually kind of trade around that. By the way, really quickly, AISP settling right here at the VWAP. It'll be interesting to see if this moves or breaks down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. I don't remember what I was going to say anymore, but I saw that the Crow was looking at what I'm looking at. COCH is setting up. Just really spready right now. I mean, it's got about a 46. It's got a 34-cent spread. So, and it's not really moving that great, but the setup, the pattern it's forming is pretty good looking, and it's testing my VWAP, and now it's through.
Voodoo, this is a great comment. Don't buy just on price action alone. This works in many different scenarios, right? So even if something sells back to the VWAP, don't just look at that. There's got to be something else in there. Take a look at AISP as that example here. We popped. Mark, you were saying, I think it breaks down since it had that huge wick, right? We had this huge pop. It immediately sold off. We ended up wicking. So now we're kind of sitting right around this VWAP here. just because we're at the VWAP, maybe that's not necessarily the reason to buy here. One of the things that I would like is I'd like to see the buying volume pick up. We're not seeing that. That's what happened the last time this moved through the VWAP. The big stick here turned to red because it's got sold back in. So there's other stuff that you need to look at. Now here we go on AISP. Maybe this volume starts to tick up here. Got some size at 315. So I'm looking at like different things, right? I'm looking at different levels. I'm looking at the volume flow, the whole 9 yards.
APGE has been great since that bounce area that I mentioned. It's just been up, going back to VWAP ever since. Now we're starting to get to an area where it could see some resistance.
Right here at VWAP.
Mm-hmm. VLCN might also be setting up to go higher. Not 100% sure.
OCEA breaking down from its VWAP here. Here's VLCN. Mara nasty. Jay, oh my God. Look at you're right, Jay. Look at the reversal here in Mara. Bitcoin. Wow, man, Bitcoin really moving here. So Bitcoin set a high on the futures chart of 70,195.
No, it made new all-time highs.
Yeah, it made new all-time highs, and now it is pulled back here 67,800. Again, this is the Bitcoin futures chart / BTC from the CBOE.
Okay, so there was a support level at 67,000 that I needed to see. It just traded beneath it. I don't know that it's going to continue going lower, but 67,000 was the next level of support that I had for Bitcoin. After this, it's 65.
I don't have, let me bring this up in Pro here because I don't have a Bitcoin feed in Trade the Pool.
Now that Bitcoin's selling off, does that mean Tesla's accelerating down further to under 180?
Well, Tesla's pounding the lows.
Yeah. And thank you for the mention, Voodoo. It is heading towards my first level. Absolutely. I will be getting a fill if it hits 165, hopefully.
So take a look at this. Here's Bitcoin USD on a weekly chart.
Nice.
This went right up to that double top. Now I can't even, let's see here on this chart. We had the high here, 69,000. High here, 69,000. Literally printed the exact same value and double topped right here.
Now, what would a 30% retracement look like from the peak to trough in that rounding bottom area? So if we measure from the highs to the lows in that rounding area, so what would 30% of that figure be? Because that would be a good handle for a cup and handle.
Okay, so this is a 76% move. This moves 52,888 points. So you want to know what 30% of that is, right? So we've got 52,888 times 0.02. Times 0.2, 30%, 0.3.
Yeah.
30% of that is 15,866.
Now subtract that off of the high that we just made.
Okay, so we had 69,000. Okay, that puts us at 53,133.
So that's the area I would be looking for a pullback in Bitcoin.
Okay, so here you go. So right in here, folks. That for 13, I love that we actually just kind of walked through that thought process here. This is the area. I'm going to mark this just because we talked about it right here. What is this? 53,133. So 3,000. There we go. 144. That's just about. So here we go. We'll see if Bitcoin pulls back to this level. By the way, one of the things you'll notice here is that this is where it broke out before. And where are we looking to the left here, 13?
Well, to see where it's this level has interacted with the price before.
Yeah, sure has. So that was really good. That was a really good exercise.
So that'd be a nice handle movement. I don't know how long it would take to get down there. Could be quick, could be slow, but that would be kind of like support. That would be the support level I'd be looking at for Bitcoin on a pullback.
Okay, I like it. Let me flip back to Trade the Pool, see if we can get some more trades here. Got about a half an hour left. Don't forget, we're going to have Anne Marie, a new show starting right here after. You don't have to go anywhere. I'm just going to bring her on, and we're going to roll into the new show.
All right.
But okay, let's go ahead back to here's Mara's pounding the lows. Jay, this is a good call on this reversal here. AISP, let's take a look at that. That might be going here again. 320 still got some size there. 325 has even more.
Root got hammered. Root got hammered. DWAC got hammered. Fun went all the way down.
INOD got hammered. Look at this.
Yeah.
INOD might be through your spot here. Let's see if we close here. INOD below 7 now.
Oh, okay. I'm already out of INOD. Looks like Fun's trying to reverse.
AISP being mentioned here by Tuna. I think this might go AISP.
That'd be cool. Yeah, what's the what was the level we were looking to break? Was it 325?
320, and then there's size at 325.
Okay. Yeah, just again, volume. We need it.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like COCH still trying to. It had a pop recently, but then it came back in under my VWAP. Still a little spready. It's 23-cent spread. Not great volume, but again, it's a chart setup that is attractive. Let's see. AISP.
I'm still watching AISP here. OCEA real seem to be the only other things on the docket, unless Apple slows down here. Apple at that 169 spot. Voodoo was mentioning earlier here that Apple creeping down to that first target of yours, Joe.
Good. Get me a Phil. Dr. Phil, my order.
Dr. Phil, my order.
There goes AISP.
Oh, AISP, folks. Remember, it's at 325 and it's through. There's
Boom.
There's more size there. 330. All right. AISP.
That was a good mention.
Yeah.
Now we're getting some bids falling into here. Here we go. Go to 350.
There we go, Tuna. AISP. Okay, so look, we've had some struggles here today, but remaining patient and staying focused allows us to find some of these plays that didn't happen right around the open. So we're going to keep a glass half full approach.
I think we should keep an eye on OCEA. The fact that it's still holding these levels is encouraging, but it's just having a hard time getting above VWAP, and the volume isn't great. That could change like that. So let's
just saw an AISP as soon as the volume moved. Yeah, exactly. Good call.
So I think it's still worth keeping on your radar, especially if it can hold above 5. I'm gonna take a look at Apple, see where we got. Okay, so we went under 170.
Yeah, we stopped right there at that 169.62 is the low print of the day that I have.
I still have to think that it's going to get a low RSI or a bounce here pretty soon. I mean, maybe we still go to my targets before that happens, but I think it's going to bounce, maybe get back up to 174, and then we could get my targets. I still think downsides on the horizon. It's just the price action might prolong that a bit.
AISP making a move towards that high here. This was a great call. Stay focused. Good to see you this morning saying, stay focused, Ryan. Hey, look, that's good advice all the time. Good handle, good advice. We'll take it. We are going to stay focused here. We're not going to let bad stuff ruin an entire day.
Yacht insurance guy, I have a little SQQQ position just to kind of hold while the market sells off.
That is actually working here today. Nice little hedge there.
Yeah. Okay. Just looking around, seeing what's setting up, what's going up, what's going down.
I have a drink from my imitation Stanley Cup. Honestly, I do love this thing. And the more Stanley users that I talk to express frustration that when they tip it over, it spills. This one doesn't spill nearly as much.
That sounds like operator error.
I mean, I didn't want to say it, 13, but if you're going to, here we are.
Yeah, I'll say it. I don't care. I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to when we're trading. It's all about you. Where you're going to enter and exit. You're clicking the button. You're the operator.
I see a note here. Dow, NASDAQ on pace for their worst day since February 13th. Half a month ago.
Right before Valentine's Day, too.
Yeah.
So is that going to be a
I
catalyst
don't
now?
even remember what I did on Valentine's. I don't think I did anything for Valentine's Day. I mean, I don't have like a Valentine, so it's not like I'm in the doghouse. That's not what I meant. I don't think that was a notable day. I don't really think I did anything on that day. I'm trying to think back to it, but
just tell your office assistants you love them, and that's good.
yeah, that was a Wednesday. That was hump day. Oh,
Yeah.
that could have. Okay, I got to stop before the jokes really start flying.
Oh God, the gears are turning.
Oh, stop!
AISP.
Don't. We got to get through this. We got to get through this show first before you do anything like that.
AISP is still moving.
AISP actually stopped around this 350 area, 340, 350 area. That other high stick here, where did that stop at? 370?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
what's
right,
up with Triple D, the stock, not the Benzinga guy. Let's take a look here. Ooh, that is a nice little staircase. Jay, let me see if there's any news in here that I can grab for you. Let me take a look at Pro.
OCEA.
All right, let me bring OCEA up while I do some DD on Triple D. Oh, man, OCEA. What was you were waiting for that volume? We didn't really get a whole lot of volume here. All right, anyway, let me keep checking on this.
It's just trying to get some EMA crossings over VWAP. It's just really trying to get away from VWAP right now and push to, I think 550 is still on the horizon if we keep this volume up. But yeah, it's not great volume.
Yeah, I just regarding 3D systems, I saw a PR from earlier this morning about a partial repurchase of convertible notes. I don't think that's what's driving it today. Maybe it's the only thing I got here in terms of news, Jay. Globe Newswire PR today, repurchasing approximately 110 million of 0% coupon convertible notes at approximately a 22% discount to par value. You think that's what could move it up here? Let me show. I can actually bring it on the screen. You want to take a look? This is the PR I'm reading.
AISP.
You tell me, Jay. You tell me what you think about that. Let me go back to AISP because that thing's moving.
Oh, yeah. It's getting some resistance now.
350 again, proving to be a spot here. 355 and 357 have a little bit of size there. 346, some size just came in.
Yeah, on down days like this, man, they don't do those special breakouts and run. Sometimes, but not always. OCEA is still trying to move too. Sorry, go ahead.
Crow bringing up something interesting here. Because there's not that many runners today, day traders will all jump into AISP. Now, I'm going to take a measured approach at this comment. There's definitely some truth to where the people that feel like they have to trade, they're going to be looking for something to trade. So whatever the momentum is, that's where the eyeballs go. But I'll be honest, I tend not to make too many decisions based off this alone because this has a chance of being incorrect. And then you can get stuck in some low volume stuff. Better instead to confirm that traders are doing this by watching some of those volumes. And as we're speaking here, AISP, volume pop, volume expansion through the highs here. This was great.
OCEA also.
So it looks like what Crow was saying here. It looks like some more traders just kind of jumped into this and pushed it here. That would have been nice. Hopefully, if you're trading this, hopefully you're paying yourself on the way up. This move here was great. The VWAP we had down here right at 3. We're up at 370s here.
Man,
make sure you're paying yourself on these moves, guys.
AV has been good today too. Just, every 5 minutes it pops and then goes sideways the next 5 minutes, and then it pops the next 5 minutes, goes sideways, then pops.
The stock monster day here for AV. The stock was $131 yesterday. 31 handle move here today. AV. No, the market was selling off, but with some select names here moving, and not just the small junk names that we talk about. AV, that's a serious company.
Yeah, it's not dead. It's just different.
No. Buy the dip, sell the rip. Smoke Tuna's plan for success.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to keep going.
390, your intraday high print there on AISP.
15 minutes. You have until we move on to next show.
Yeah, it's going to be Anne Marie's show. So we're doing that. We're going to give her own show. And it's going to be me and her, half an hour, market moves, and we're going to do options in focus. Voodoo. So throw up the money flow oscillator to verify volume on AISP. Good way to quickly track it. Okay, let me do that here on another chart and then maybe throw this on my Trade the Pool one. I don't know where it is in Trade the Pool, so let me first take a look here in Pro. That's the money flow index. So I actually don't have that oscillator. I just have that money flow index on Trading View. I beg your pardon. Let me see what I have here. MFI money flow index got the same thing. So I add this here. This is what it did. Let me make it so you can see it. So here's the only MFI study that I have, Voodoo. Let me know if this is what you're referring to. I definitely need to go over those things that you sent me.
Root might be, well, I don't want to say it might be done with its epic run, but it's definitely selling off here. We've seen this before where it just gets bought back up, it goes higher.
This actually looks like it might bounce here. This was the low from the right out of the open where it bounced the first time today.
Right, but it bounced above the 200 EMA and now it's trading beneath it. So I'm a little bit more concerned about it.
Daniel, the option-centric show that we're talking about will be Tuesdays and Fridays. Keep in mind there might be a select Tuesday or a select Friday here that we don't run that show, but the general schedule will be for Tuesdays and Fridays. For example, this week we're only doing Tuesday because Anne Marie is traveling on Friday. So our next show, I believe, will be next Tuesday, but I'll have to confirm that with you. And I'll do my best to try and alert you to those schedule changes here on live trading. So if you're already joining for live trading, you should be able to kind of keep up with the schedule and the schedule changes that we make. I'll try and make that a point.
OCEA is trying to break through 545. That's the next big level.
Daniel, it's 11 to 11:30 Central.
Apple back above 170. Looks like market's trying to recover a little bit here, but I think this is just the beginning of some bearishness. Oh my God, AV, it just had another spike to new highs. If there's one stock that I regret not getting into when I was talking about it, it's this one.
AV.
Yeah. But you know, I can't dwell on that because
you can't hit them all. You can't hit them all and you can't catch them all. So you know, it is what it is. I mean, that's one of the things why I like looking for sympathy plays so much is because there's often a reason why you'll miss some big impulse move, but that might carry another one here. AV again, I had all types of opportunities to buy this one, never did. OCEA pushing to the highs here, looking like this might take that high off. AISP doing the same thing. Remember, AISP, that high was 390 there, currently at 375. So it looks like this is trying to push here. AISP.
Yeah,
we're at a bear party today. Bulls, stay away from the smell of salmon.
Maybe if I had played Pokemon more, I would have learned how to catch them all.
I was never a huge Pokemon fan. Never really got into it.
Me neither. That was something for my brother, my younger brother.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do, OCEA? This looks like it's really trying to take out that 550 and just, go higher.
Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up here.
Yeah, probably in the next 5 minutes.
550 definitely has some size. We saw some size earlier at 545, but I don't see a whole lot there. Crush Peach asking, when is happy hour? Happy hour is 4 to 5 p.m., but that is not a YouTube show. That is a Zoom call open only to BZ subscribers.
So subscribe now so you can participate.
Yeah, I definitely think that you should. But in all fairness, again, just because we're trying to go along with the rising tide lifts all boats. I mean, 13, you and I discuss plenty of content that we talk in there. It's not as necessarily if it's a secret, but if you want to participate in that discussion, definitely got to be a pro member.
And there's a lot of really, really smart people in that.
Just added Voodoo yesterday, man. We constantly looking for more people to add.
Smart, well-informed people. Definitely worth it, in my opinion. OCEA, here we
13,
go.
we also talk about beer and scotch in there, so you know that's
I
good
drink beer and scotch in there.
I'm still working, so technically I don't, but maybe I should.
Yeah, we were trying to take out 550 in the OCEA.
Nice job, really Carmen. We'll ring the register on that. Jay, giving us another market update here. Bond strong, dollar weak. In the past, indexes would have been big green on this. Just seems like the value names acting well. Jay, does that tell you at all that we are at or near a top? Like, is this part of topping action, in your opinion? But I tell you what, all we had to do was mention beer. We got Crow and Off Ice ready to roll.
There we go.
That's beer seems to be the mention.
But there's no Baileys and coffee there.
No, that's right. That's right. So
I'll save it for the show.
I will say, folks, 13, I've told the story before. 13 flew into Detroit, hung out with us at the office. I loved going out and having some beers after work. Food, local watering holes, cigar bars. I mean, that was fun. That was fun. We got to do that again. You know what? I owe you a trip down to Texas pretty soon. That's the other thing. I owe you a trip down to Texas. That's going to be really fun.
We'll have some barbecue. We'll go shoot some guns.
Oh man, don't get me all excited here. Oh,
AISP.
Bring it up and share. Yeah, Voodoo, email this to me. If I can't bring it up even on this show here today, maybe even a recap in happy hour or maybe a recap tomorrow. Do me a favor, email me this. I'm definitely interested in some of those newer indicators. I'm very much into expanding my toolbox here. Office assistant, I got another show after this. I'm sorry. He's so sleepy and tired. Thank you, Voodoo. I appreciate that. Texas barbecue is the best in the world. Richard, I already know that, and I will be having barbecue. I'm in Dallas. Come through. Daniel, love it. Okay, Jay, appreciate the answer here. No, as long as the banks hold up, it's still rotation. So this is actually a really good point. We talked about maybe the market topping. We've talked, about rotating. One of the things I was waiting for was rotation into IWM. One of the things that Jay's telling you here is that, hey, if these banks hold up, you might have people actually rotating out of some of these tech stocks into banks. Goes on to say XLF, KRE are green, oil banks are cheap. These are some of the value names. These are where they have low multiples where people feel okay holding it. This is good stuff, Jay.
Yeah, Marlon's right. Houston Rodeo is this month. Last year had a really big lineup too. It was quite popular. Here we go with AISP. Might be getting going here again.
It is. Trading back up to the top end of that range. OCEA pulling back here a little bit.
Yep.
AISP making a march to the highs.
As long as we can stay above 505, that should be fine with OCEA. Get a little pullback here before it tries to take out 550 again. That's just we just need to see the volume maintain and see that 505 level maintain, and then we could get the buyers to come back in. But I'm not in OCA right now.
Waiting for Benzinga to sponsor my ticket to Texas for barbecue.
Maybe we should just have like a Benzinga in Texas event. Look at AV. It's still going up. Wow, what is this thing?
Texas meetup.
Yeah.
I could be down for that. AVAV, man, this, you can talk about strong. This has just been all strength here today.
Yeah, drones
Richard, whoever it was earlier that bought this GANX after this sell-off, you might have been onto something there. Because here's the thing, like the PR notwithstanding, you want to say that the PR isn't really great, didn't really have a whole lot of like information. Okay, I'm with you on that. But I don't understand what news would have drove it negative. To me, this just seems like traders being frustrated here. I think it was Richard. I think it was you that mentioned this earlier. I apologize if I'm misquoting. But you had said that you were looking at this near the bottom here. We're actually a decent, we're 40 some cents off the bottom here. Volume's really, really light, but 40 cents off the bottom. Good patience on your part on GANX. This didn't work earlier, but here we go. Maybe we're coming back here. Let's go back to AISP, which continues to move here.
Yeah, I think next 5 minutes might provide a move again, but we'll have to wait and see.
Jay mentioning about the AV short interest. I can actually give that to you. I'll give you an updated figure right now since we're talking about it. AVAV 3 points. This print is as of February 27th. So we're about a week stale on this, but that's not bad considering short interest. 3.7% of its float shorted, very, very small. 4.87 days to cover. So it looks like just because this normally doesn't trade a whole lot of volume on average, looking at about 180,000 shares. The 100-day average is higher at 280,000 shares. So AVAV, a little higher days to cover. Doesn't look like this is traded a whole lot, which might be kind of fueling that move. But the raw short interest doesn't look all that high.
AISP, not looking great here with all this upper shadow price action. But we'll see if it can continue to try to push through and get up to, I think, what was the target? 5? Is what the Pro was after?
Say that one more time. I was reading something else.
I was just talking about AISP. It's just, lots of upper shadows, but still got the strength. So maybe I'm not right about that. It's starting to look a little weak.
Yeah, if we take a look at the tuna MACD here, it's slowed down, right? That MACD was expanding when we had the up move that we should have been selling into, frankly, just saying. This is slowing down. Those signal lines have kind of stopped. It does look like it's weakening, but it might not be over yet.
Yeah. OCEA.
Can you riddle? Do all of you trade on a 1 minute time frame? Just curious. Well, I would say that we alter all of those. 13 earlier was talking about a 5 minute chart. I'm currently sharing a 3 minute chart. My scanner on Benzinga Pro has a 1 minute chart. I'm always looking at a daily chart. Even on this screen here, we've got a daily, a 1 hour, and the 3 minute here. So I would say I incorporate multiple time frames in here.
As do I, but I mostly use 5 minute chart.
And Voodoo uses a 2 minute chart. So we all have things that are a little bit different here, which is, I think, awesome. I think that helps me spot things that I wouldn't. That's lower than I thought. It used to be over 15 back in the day. So it looks like that short interest has come in a little bit there. Reds asking thoughts on the Tesla dip. Reds, we were talking about Tesla earlier. When I had said that Apple was leading the way down, 13 was correctly saying it was actually Tesla leading the way down. We are at some support levels. I am expecting a bounce here, but the trend is currently down. What were some of the other levels that we had in here? I think 165,
175. 175, I think, is probably the next level you're looking at here with this one for support. Okay. After that, then maybe closer to 170. I can't say for sure. I don't know where the bottom is with Tesla. It's a valuation problem I have with it.
Yeah, we've discussed that at length. I'm glad you brought that back up. Looking at the chart though, 175 definitely one of those spots. 165 and 152 would be some spots on the way down there.
AVAV is going to 170, isn't it? I mean, This thing is just, it's pretty strong today. It just looks like it's headed to 170. DWAC fell through that.
That's another good point here.
46.75. So let's talk about that point that you just brought up.
Yeah, Smoke Tuna was just saying you have to do what works for you, right? You sometimes lower time frames show too much emotions, so having a higher time frame can really kind of slow you down. I would agree with this. I would completely agree with this. Okay, we are going to get over to the new show 13. Thanks so much for everything here today.
Sure.
Great job yet again, as always. Stick around to check out Anne-Marie. We're going to be talking some options. So if you have options questions or interested in options trading, stick around. 13, you're welcome to stick around as well. If I don't see you, I will see you on happy hour later today.
You got it. Bye, everybody. Have a good time.
All right. Take care, 13. 13 out of here. That clears the way for all of us. Again, thanks for joining us here for live trading. I am going to bring on Anne-Marie. Let me see. Did we get the we don't have the intro for you yet. Let's just go. She doesn't even need it. Bro. Anne-Marie, good morning. Happy Tuesday.
Hello.
How you doing? Happy
Hello.
Super Tuesday.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Wait,
I'm
is
doing
this
good.
a Super Tuesday?
It is.
Oh.
Does that affect your trading at all?
No, but it does make me go, So I always have to sit in those spaces where I go, And today's one of those days, right?
Okay.
Super Tuesday is always one of those days.
Indeed. Now, today we're actually seeing a market selling off. I noticed that the last time that we talked, it was right around an NVIDIA earnings, and we talked about some of those options trades. First of all, I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. Like I told you before, I am experienced with trading options, but I am not as confident as I'd like to be with trading multi-leg options. So I'm really looking forward to kind of adding that to my toolbox here. And I know that we've had a lot of those really good trades recently. And I know that you're doing this regularly within Benzinga Pro. So awesome stuff. Can't wait to get this rolling here. I would say for any of you, if there are stocks that you want to take a look at, let us know. If you have feedback, let me know. We'll try and make this as productive as possible. Anne-Marie, what do you want to start with today?
Absolutely. I do want to reiterate your term on the making the time to send us feedback so we can just get better at this for everyone. That's so important to us. You know, I'd love to look at Apple, and a lot of folks are in maybe a little bit of shock and awe with the morning because it has been a bit of a fade. Do you have a market map that shows you a visualization of what the overall market looks like?
Not yet. You'll be happy to know that a customizable heat map is coming to Pro pretty soon. But for the sake of today's demonstration, I do not have that ready. So if you have one, you're more than welcome to share.
Perfect. So I'll do it with our handy dandy Thinkorswim.
Okay. And while she's getting that ready here, Apple is fading here. Now, the one thing for me, Anne-Marie, and we'll see what we talk about when we actually dive in here. Just kind of looking at my chart right here, there's one spot that really kind of jumps off the page, and that's going to be this dead low here that happened. If it looks like this was October, let me get the exit, October 26th. So this low right here, got this at about 165, and I also have the 500-day moving average at about 165. So those two spots are converging here. This to me looks like support on Apple, but let's take a look at the heat map that you brought up.
All right. So what we are staring down is a market that is really split, but we can understand why the Qs are having such a tough time today, because the big movers, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD, and these are all running on China news, right? Some China news. Tesla is in rough shape because, somebody set fire to a gigafactory of theirs, their Gigafactory, and Apple is pulling back, Google is pulling back, Meta's pulling back. So we see all the things that are giving the market a lift have started coming back into support. But we remain in a buy the dip formation, which is great that you bring up Apple because it's sitting at a critical zone. So let me share with you a little bit about this Apple trade. I took, because I felt like Apple was going to really expand. I'm going to take a snapshot because we know how bad Thinkorswim is at showing us these pictures. And so I'm going to take a snapshot of this strangle that I took back in, I don't know, I think it might have been January, some time ago. I took it a while ago, and I said, hey, well, let me use my fingers because my mouse is possessed. So what we're seeing is all right. So we're looking at multi-leg options, and multi-leg options give us a couple of choices in terms of how the market moves directionally. And here's what we are staring down. I bought this a while back, and I bought it at about $1. So it's underwater.
What are the strikes here? Because it's definitely very difficult to see.
So let's open this, and now we should see the strikes really well here.
Yep.
It was the March 15th expiry, but I picked 215 if it broke out and 165 if it broke down. Now, I bought this for $1 average entry, and I bought it back in January, December. This stock has stayed in the range, so all of the strangle leaked out of it. And at one point, this thing was only worth about 12 cents. So what's the point of me telling this story? The point of me telling this story is sometimes you get into a trade, and although you know that the price action is likely to do one thing or another, it takes a long time doing it. So if you wouldn't mind, let's put up your chart again and talk about that very same number, 165, that you called out.
Sure. Let me go ahead and do that here. Here is the Apple daily chart. Now, again, I was giving you kind of a range in there, Anne-Marie. I was looking at the bottom of this candle from October 26th, but also looking at this moving average. This gave us about a 40 to 50 cent range.
Perfect. And that's exactly because that is such a long moving average, right? It's what is that, a 500?
Yep.
Okay. So I wasn't using an average, but what I was using was the last time the chart actually came down into those lows and they bounced. First time it really came into sort of the 200, gave way a little bit and bounced again. It's collapsed off of that 200 and it is really giving back. So is this a space where people are saying fundamentally, hey, something's wrong with Apple. They aren't really sitting in this AI space. Maybe I ought to rotate. All those sorts of things that people are saying, wow, something might be different about how Apple is performing.
And you know, Anne-Marie, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but we actually got news along those lines this morning to confirm that that's the case. We actually had a newsprint here today that Apple's iPhone sales have dipped 24% in China. That's fresh, right? So you're absolutely right. Like there are a number of, the whole AI thing was one thing, but now we're actually getting more fresh news that, hey, Apple's flagship product, the phone that everybody loves, actually not selling that well in China. Maybe there are other international markets where this is going to kind of come in, leading to more Apple weakness.
Exactly. So we have two choices. Our thought is, are the traders going to do the things that they have been doing in times past, and that is buy the dip? Or are we seeing something that's fundamentally going to tell us that Apple is going to give back some of these very massive gains? And my thought is it could be both. So the question now becomes, if we're looking at something that says, hey, Apple might be giving up further gains, is it going to do it in a straight shot down? And what we have to think about when we're putting on an option position is, what's everybody most likely to do? Now, if you and I are sitting back at our coffee tables and we're chit-chatting over lattes or whatever it is that we like to drink, we'll say, hey, it's going to be really hard for Apple to lose these levels because, one, they have more cash than the GDP of several countries. And if people are thinking like that and they're going, I wonder if they'll buy the dip. I might buy the dip because traders are generally simpletons and will say, oh, the last time we were there, everybody started buying, so maybe I'll do a little buying.
Let me ask you another question really quick about buying the dip. Do you ever factor in buyback announcements? The company maybe buying their own stock back if they've got that on the books?
So sometimes.
Okay.
But my thought about buying the dip is it never truly adds value to a stock. Everybody has this, they believe the chatter that says, listen, if we buy the dip, if we announce buybacks, it means that what we're doing is giving the profit back to the shareholder. And everybody goes, oh yeah, I'll buy that. But that's not what happens at all. You can look at companies that have done buybacks and the stock might bounce for a little, but if they're not doing the right things fundamentally, it rolls over on those buybacks. And so you can go back and stare that down. I love that you're shaking your head because I know you've seen it just the same way that I have. It's been very, very interesting. So now we have to say, okay, if we're to take the stance that, you know what, people are going to buy this because it's Apple and because it's cheap and they're going to recover, that's one step. But if they're wrong and they buy the buyback, but nobody else comes in to buy that buyback, it'll be a sell the bounce. And so potentially, I believe this is what Apple is sitting in. Okay. It's in a sell the bounce formation. And so what I did was I actually covered my strangle at a little bit under break even. I lost about $15 on that particular trade. And so one of the things we have to understand about rotation is that once a rotation begins in our favor, we let it continue in our favor until price action says, you might need to take some profit. And so this is where you might need to take some profit comes in, and it turns around into the, if we were to buy the dip, what's the cheapest way that we can do it? And if we're looking at a chart that is going to potentially collapse, how might we frame it? And that's my favorite structure for the butterfly. And so a butterfly is a multi-legged option where we buy an option here, right? And we buy a call option, and then we sell a call option, and then we buy another call option. So what we do is we have a long call spread that says, hey, here's my bottom, here's my top. And we have a short call spread that says, here's my top, here's my bottom. And so because we're selling right in the middle, That's where we want to see price go. So zoom in a little bit to the last high of that daily gap. That, yes, right on yesterday's high. That's about 175.
Yep. So here's yesterday's candle. I have a high of 176.90 and a low of 173.79.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is say, okay, the market has notoriously bought the dip in every kind of formation like this. What might this buy the dip look like if I just went 2 weeks out and said, I'm going to try and take a 2-week gain for a small bounce that gives me a collapse of price at 175. Okay. And so this is an unusual formation because we don't expect price to move dramatically. We only expect it to move a little bit before it collapses. I don't believe that we're going to hit 180. I don't. But I think 180 is going to be the top of that resistance zone in general.
Okay.
So if you're thinking to yourself, listen, Apple has fallen a ton, it's going to come back, you can look out and you can go, hey, I'm going to go buy that 175 call. Now, if you go buy the 175 call, currently it's going for $1.19, right? So it's $119. And let me take the snapshot again so that we can see what's going on. We'll do the chain and we'll talk about what this chain might look like. And we're going to expand it. And I'm going to see why we might choose. I'm going to zoom out just a bit. Let's see if we can see that. Can we see that a little?
Might need a tad more. There we go. That's good.
Right? So we can see this 175. I'm going to take a picture of it. Show the snapshot there. We can see the 175 call sitting at $1.19 for March. Now, the question might be, how long is it going to take this thing to bounce? Or if it falls apart, what's going to happen there? So first thing in your mind, you have to decide whether you think Apple is bullish or bearish. If you think Apple is bullish, this is going to make some kind of sense to you, but maybe not a ton of sense to you if you're thinking it's going to go way high. I don't think it's going to go way high. So the easiest thing to do that might give us an exposure event to higher prices, we would buy the 175 and we potentially sell the 180, right? So if that's 119 and this is 37, we're going to have, I don't know, something about 80 cents, something like that,
Yep.
Maybe 82 cents. We'll end up having this spread for. Now, here's the beauty. The price action doesn't have to go to 175. The price action doesn't have to go to 180. It just has to go higher from where it is, and it has to do it in a swift amount of time moving up the chain. But if you do this and it bounces into expiration, you're going to be able to make 70 to 130% between now and the 15th of March. So that's 92 cents. Now, don't start doing trader math. This trader math is a terrible thing. We think to ourselves, oh, if I buy 10 of these and I can double what that is, then all of a sudden, I'm sitting on $1,800, but Apple could collapse. And so I'm going to tell you the secret of why gray hairs like me hang around in the market for more than 20 years. We never think about what we can make. We're always thinking about what we can lose first.
I love that.
If we go, okay, if the wheels come off the bus here, 92 cents is what I have as my, or 90 cents is what I have as my risk. Maybe I set my risk threshold to 50% and I lose $46 or $47. And if this goes well, I make $180. And if it goes badly, I lose $48. That I can say, and then I go, all right, whatever happens, I'm going to obey my rules. And that's going to be what you're going to look for. That is a simple option spread. It's a call spread that allows me to buy the 175 and sell the 180. And I don't care if it goes to 175 or even if it goes to 180. That'll be gravy if it goes all the way up to 180, because I'll end up making 350% if it goes up to the top. All I want it to do is move up off the floor of the support zone and start accumulating strength. Think of it this way. If every 2 weeks you put up a position where you could pull 20 to 60% out of the market, and if you're losing, you only lose 50%, and you have a win rate of 60 and 70%, by and by, you're going to be building that portfolio balance, which is really what you want to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're really putting the odds in your favor, especially over longer time periods there, which is awesome. And that's exactly what we want to do here. So, okay, cool.
Exactly. All right. So that's one of the trades. The next trade, the super simple one, would be, hey, I just want to buy the 170 calls because I know it's very likely to hold that. And, you know, that's going to end up making it $173.30. That's pretty expensive. $3.30 is what we're seeing there. Now, let's talk about this butterfly that will give it a couple of days after expiration. Wow, put calls. Look at this. Even number of calls and puts. This is something interesting. If you have Thinkorswim, you're going to see something that says option stats. And those option stats are going to tell you how many people have bought calls and how many people have bought puts for the day on the volume. And then where those are sitting out of the money would be deltas between 0 and 20 and 21 and 40, right? So 80% of people today are buying out of the money calls. So what are they thinking? If I'm buying an out of the money call today, I'm thinking price is going to go up.
I was going to say, you're thinking that stock's going to trade up. You know what? You know what's funny about this? I've looked at this screen 500 times over the course of my career, and I've never actually thought about it like this until right now.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, this is that I've already learned something. I've already learned something that I'm going to use. This is great.
I love that. So you can see where these 480,000 calls are going. Now, two things could be happening there. They could be, now we know if they are buying the calls, that the dealer who is facilitating this trade is going to be short those calls. So he or she, to make a zero, they don't want to have their portfolios showing positive or negative. Dealers don't care where the market goes. That's the bottom line. When you buy an option, there's always a dealer in between you and that option that you have bought or sold. That is a key difference between buying stock and selling stock. When you buy stock and sell stock, Ryan, when I buy stock from you, it's just you and me, and there's a little bit of an electronic exchange, and that electronic exchange makes the market, right? That's the Citadels, that's the whatever. When we get into the option space, a dealer gets in there because options carry a different kind of risk. And those risks have all kinds of fancy names like gamma risk and vega risk and charm risk and blah, 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 blah. We don't really care about that. All we care about is where are people positioning? So now let's go over to the put side. The put side also has 0 to 20 delta. That's also out of the money. And the 21 to 40 delta, these are the at the monies. 41 to 60 is the at the money event. And 61 to 80 and 81 to 100 are in the money events. Okay? So there are 58% of all the put options are out of the money. Now, if I am buying a put option out of the money, I expect price action to go down if I'm buying the put. If I'm selling the put, I'm expecting price action to go up. All right? Let's just say everybody's buying these puts. So 50% of the people buying the puts think price is going to go down, and the other 50% think price is going to go up because they're in or at the money and they're trying to protect their position. So what does this tell us? This tells us that even though the same amount of calls and puts, almost the same amount of calls and puts are being bought, the buyers are thinking, oh yeah, this chart's going to go up. So let's go with the crowd. And we're thinking to ourselves, this is going to go up. So what I want to do is position in a way that's cheap if the price bounces. And if I'm wrong, I'm not going to get hurt badly. So here's how we're going to do
I like that kind of trade. That sounds good to me.
Right? So I'm going to take another snapshot and expand it. And here we go. Let's expand it again. Let me see. Yeah, this will do. This is where we're going to look at a potential butterfly. Okay? So the thing about a butterfly, again, a long call spread and a short call spread, right? We want the price action to sit in the middle. We talked about that being about 175. So here's what we're going to consider. We're going to consider going long the 170s and going short 2 of the 180s, and then going long 1 of the 190s. Again, 1 of the 170s, 2 of the 180s. We're going to sell 2 of those, and we're going to buy 1 of the 190s. So this is called, let me put this down right here. It is a 1 by 2 by 1. I buy the first one, I sell the middle 2, and I buy the last one, right? That's what a long butterfly, looks like. Okay, so now we have that. Let's look at it in terms of see how much it's going to cost us. So if I did the 170 into the 28th, and I did the 97s, ooh, that's kind of expensive. I go to 190. It's going to be about $2.66 if it's only 2 weeks away. All right. When I do that, this is the number that's going to come up. Let me see if I can get it.
And let me ask you a question really quick there. I noticed that you, and I know that this is going to be different from broker to broker, but just for our own understanding, just so we can kind of keep pace with where we're at here. I noticed that you have the single options chain on there. So were you selecting the the single options? You're selecting the one that you want to buy, the top wing. And then you're selecting the one that you want to sell by clicking on the ask. You're telling it that you want to sell that one, right?
Yes.
And then you're getting the other wing. Let's call it the bottom wing or the top wing, or whatever the opposite of the first wing that I said was. Then you're just clicking on that. And then Thinkorswim is detecting that you're trying to put on a butterfly.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So here's something also very interesting with Thinkorswim. You can go over here. Hang on to 2 secs.
And these are May, right? Oh, no, excuse me. Those initial ones, I'm looking at your orders. These are for March, right? So these are
it's
23 days till expiry.
Yes, exactly. So you'll notice it's 267. Now, if you think that, hey, it might take a little bit longer for this butterfly to work because it's $10 away, I want it to really get to about 175. If I pay $2.68 for it, it's about 100% risk to reward, but there's a fair amount of risk there. $265. If I say, hey, I don't want to lose more than $135, again, 50% is what I like to use from that space. I like to use that edge. And so you can do that, but it's only going to be 1-to-1. So let's go and do the following. Let's say instead of the 28th of March, I go into the monthly expiration in April. Wow, it's the same price. I wonder if it's because of earnings. Let's see. When does Apple?
I think Apple's not due till May, right? Let me check. I can actually get that here for you.
Yeah, the volatility has really increased in here. That's supremely
so Apple's next report is unconfirmed for May 2nd. So we're actually projecting that May 2nd date based on previous reports, but the company has not yet confirmed their next earnings date.
Okay, so let's leave this where it sits. And we're going to see that it's pretty expensive. It might be worth it, but it's not a trade that I'm going to take. But what I want you to see is the structure. A lot of times we take trades in butterflies and we make the spread too small, even though we're thinking about explosive motion. And so the reason
that by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I do that once in a while myself. And so when we take a look at the chart itself, we can see that what's happening here, and I will open up one of these so it's not noisy, if you don't mind. Here's the wonderful thing about options. It takes a little while to get your feet wet, but once you understand the power of the option, it is going to give you so much additional flexibility when a chart is in motion that you're going to end up loving it. So you can see here's my 167 that I was looking at. What I wanted the chart to do was really move, and it took all of this time and all of this time just sitting and languishing around 180 to 190 before it falls off a cliff. All right. So this is everybody. We can see everybody today is saying, listen, I'm buying some call options here. This is a great place to buy Apple. And I think it's going to recover nicely. Now, why am I choosing 180? I'm choosing 180 for really 3 reasons. 1, it's a nice round number. 2, it's the beginning of the monthly open, which is this green bar right here. And 3, old resistance, new support. So it tells me that if it gets running, it could easily break 175 and go up to 180. Okay.
Okay.
And so that is why I'm saying, hey, listen, let's let 180 be one of those legs that we're looking at. All right. The probability that your butterfly is going to be successful if the price bounces is going to be fairly high with this 170, 180, 190. Okay. It's going to be fairly high. If indeed it does not work out, it is going to give you that, $135 loss. So that's really what you're going to think. If you are saying to yourself, well, wait a second, what if Apple really takes off? Can't I look at different strikes? And so absolutely you can. Let's say you want it to go to 190, right? Let's say you expect it to completely recover and get back into the sloppy zone. You can go 175 to 185, which we already talked about as being that sloppy zone, to 195. And now the price is cut in half. But I want to show you something. This number over here, let's take a picture so that you can know what's happening when you build option spreads inside of Thinkorswim or any other place. If you are looking at your position, this is the 175, 185, 195 call spread, butterfly, you're going to go way over to the edge here and you're going to see a delta. Now, what this delta tells you is the likelihood, this delta tells you of the likelihood that you will be right, 18%. Now, when we did it with the 170, 180, 190, the delta was up at 27%. And remember, what a delta is the probability that your option will be in the money at the time of expiration. So the butterfly puts you in a space where you're looking for an outsized move. So your delta is normally going to be smaller. But at the end of the day, you want to have the sweet spot between a good delta and good prices. So you can wiggle that around, but let your chart tell you what to do. And so the chart is telling me, listen, this price action is likely to initiate a bounce. The traders are thinking, yeah, this is going to lift. A lot of the buyers are going to be looking at buying this option down here at the nice round 170 area and having the upside pressure back into 180. And what have we done almost every single time in our current market is buy the dip. We've been in this incredible buy the dip formation for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. And so that's really what we're going to look at. Now, I feel like maybe I've said a lot from maybe a confusing space, and I'm giving lots of options in terms of what to do. But talking to you, if you and I were trying to strategize on a trade together, what would you say you see Apple doing? And if you were a stock trader, what would you be looking for?
Okay, so this is a really good point. We actually had a question that is related to that. So let me try and tie that in here, Anne-Marie.
Okay.
EKS was saying, is there any catalyst for Apple to make this bounce? When he says to do that, he's referring to that bounce that we were talking about. A quarterly rebalance would imply more sellers. Now, one of the things that you just talked about is that looking at the chart and the environment we're in here, it sure seems like this is a buy the dip scenario.
Yes.
So that's what I would be saying. So the direct answer here for EKS would be, in lieu of any other catalyst out there, I think that we're going to have a regression to the mean, an upside bounce off one of these support areas. Now, The areas that I'm looking at, Anne-Marie, and tell me if this is what you were asking me. The areas that I'm looking at are the ones that we already talked about. That 167, that previous support area, and then right beneath that, it looks like you've got that at 165. So
Yes.
that area in there is where I think Apple is likely to change its direction. So what I would do then is I would try to structure my trade around that area. Again, that's 165 to 167 and a half or so.
Okay, excellent. So here is another way that you can do that. You can take a short put spread that gives you profit as the price action comes into that zone. So, for instance, if you're looking at Apple and you're saying, hey, this thing's going to bounce, but it could get down to 165 before it does, then you sell the 165 put and you buy the protection just above it, a lower level, right, at 155. So you're managing your risk and you're collecting a credit. So here's the many ways that you can look at this. So let's take a peek at, I'm going to take a snapshot of this again.
Okay.
And we're going to look at total cost. If we're thinking we've got an upside position, we can do two things. We can say, hey, I want to sell this butterfly. I want to buy this butterfly for $1.40. But if that price action does nothing, this price is going to erode, and I am going to be down my $70 if I use a 50% stop loss. So how do I want to compete with that? Well, let's say it does do nothing. I can sell the 165, 155 put, and as it erodes, I continue to take more credit, because tomorrow this might be worth 120. The next day it might be worth $1. The day after that it might be worth 90 cents, and so on and so forth. So you take a combination of a short put spread and a long butterfly, and what you end up having is,
Looks like a 6-cent debit.
exactly. And get this, cumulatively, you will have a theta event, a delta event that is 18 plus 20, which is 38. And so now you have a 38% chance statistically that these two things together are going to pay you. What you do,
That sounds almost like a coin flip. That doesn't sound bad at all.
it doesn't sound bad at all. And you have time on your hand, because here's how the marvelous thing about a butterfly is, because you've sold the two in the center, time decay is working in your favor with those two in the middle, and time decay is working against you with the two on the edges, right? Because when you buy a call, time decay works against you. And when you sell a call, time decay works in your favor. Same thing. When you buy a put, time decay works against you. And when you sell a put, time decay works in your favor. Now, why is that? Because time is money. And we've heard that a zillion times.
Yes, we have.
But time is exactly money in the option trade. So let me show you what that means. Let's go up here in this image. And this number right here is theta. And what theta says is every single day you hold this option, 8 cents of it, this number right here, 8 cents of it is going to disappear in value if you are long the option. And it's the same on the call side as it is on the put side, right? 8 cents.
Not bad.
So what that says is let it leak. You let it leak in your favor. I prefer to sell options more than to buy them. That's why if you're in the Benzinga Pro, you see that I always have short iron condors or short put spreads or short call spreads. Is I am looking for time to be my friend, and I'm going to sell that time to somebody else. Now, when does that work against you? It works against you if price is moving very fast. And that's what we've seen in the market. Price has been moving monstrously fast.
Yeah, it sure has.
In one direction or another.
Okay, real quickly, I want to clean some stuff up here. Margaret was asking, were they all call, buy, and sell options? So, Margaret, May 2nd. So I'm not sure what you're asking for here. So there are a couple of things going on. So first of all, the butterfly that we're talking about and the put spread that we're talking about have a March expiry. They're at the bottom here. Yeah. I understand it might be a little confusing because there are some May
These are other trades up here that we're taking.
But these are other trades. So again, the one that we're focusing on is the bottom section here that has a March 28th expiry. Now, you were asking, were they all call, buy, and sell options? So what Anne-Marie did was she actually was in the single option leg chain, and she clicked buy. She clicked on the ask for the buy options, and she clicked on the offer, right, for the for selling the option, and it figured out that it was a butterfly. You can also select butterfly from Thinkorswim's option chain.
Yes.
And go right to it and then adjust the wings and the body. One more question here from Marlon. Margaret, if you had anything else on that, please let me know. Marlon's asking here, does a trader always desire to be in the money when placing out of the money trades? When do you want to consider a butterfly option? I think what he's asking here is, when do you want to consider a butterfly option? When the underlying is consolidating or bullish trend or bearish trend? So what do you think on that one?
So here, this is actually a 3-part question.
Yep.
So here it begins. The first thing is, butterflies can be both call butterflies and put butterflies. So if you think action is going to be continually bearish, you can buy a put butterfly. If you think options are going to be generally bullish, you buy a call butterfly. Now, what we are doing is following the crowd that says, hey, we should have a bounce. Now, the crowd is right until it's wrong. And so what we have to think about taking a trade like this is, I could be wrong. So how do I want to stage my size? And that's going to be, listen, I'd start with one of these.
Yeah.
And then as it begins to bounce, you can add a few more. And now this makes us think about, when we have our 401k guy, or if we have an investment guy, he's always talking about cost averaging. Hey, it's going to help you. You just need to stay invested, cost averaging. And so our brain says, well, wait a second. If I buy another one, my cost average goes up. So here's the thing. If you want to buy something, you want to buy it when prices are going up, not when prices are going down, because near-term prices will reflect future term prices unless you see a floor that is very visible in the market. And that's what we looked for first. That's why Ryan said, first, let's look at the chart. Optimally, if we were staring this down on the Apple chart and we were looking at this was even better, Friday, my thought was, hey, listen, if we close under 180, we've got short action coming in here. And so I said to the folks in the Zoom, I said, listen, I know we've had this really crummy strangle, which is buying a call and buying a put, expecting big price motion. I know we've had this strangle and it's languishing, but if we close under 180, this chart is going to collapse into the next area that everybody bought. That's why Ryan came in first of all with the assessment of the technical price action. And that's where you start with every butterfly, every iron condor. Indeed, every option trade that you take, you must look at current price action and go, wait a second, have I broken a near support? Am I approaching a near resistance? Am I in trend to the upside? And what we've done, let's say we were looking at this yesterday, we could see, well, I broke my 180. And if I look here, you could see all kinds of people said, hey, look, support, 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 but they forget all of this. Oh, well, I know that was support too, but this is support. And so there was a lot of buying at 175 and the price action collapsed. So what we have to look for is, where did the traders say, no, I'm not selling under there. I'm not selling under there. And if it breaks under there, you go, holy cow, we got a new paradigm here.
Yeah, now we have to reassess. Exactly. Okay.
Exactly. And so this is why we can take that 165, 160 trade, because if it breaks 166, that 165, 160 is now in danger and we can clip it off. We'll maybe lose 10%, right? It won't fall off a cliff at all because we've got it far out enough for us not to consider that.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of thinking, but that's I love trading because trading is the hardest work I've ever done, but it's also the most rewarding.
Indeed.
Because if you begin to think like the other traders, not what you think should happen, but if you start thinking, wait, what did everybody else do? Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And that'll work until it doesn't. And then when it doesn't, we go, all right, that's it.
All right, then we'll reassess. I get asked all the time, how do you select strikes? And I think that I might just start answering by looking at the chart, because really you can gain
100%.
so much information just from the chart. Where are the buyers and sellers? Where are they likely to stop? Where is it? Where does the paradigm shift, as you just mentioned there? So great start. Okay, Anne-Marie, I know we're over here. This was awesome for a first launch. Again, we're going to try and do this Tuesdays and Fridays. There are going to be some select Tuesdays and some select Fridays that will be unavailable. I will do my absolute best to keep everyone on top of the schedule. No show this Friday, right?
That's right.
And we'll be back next Tuesday.
Correct. Looking forward to it. And we normally spend, about 30 minutes together? Should we spend 30 minutes or 40 minutes?
I that's what I'm thinking here. I mean, like today we did 52 minutes. So yes. I think one of the things that we should do is that obviously the content sometimes takes a little bit longer to go over here. So as long as we can, we will spend that time on it. Today we didn't have anything, so that's great. In the future, that might be different, but we'll go ahead and we'll manage that. This was a good first start. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Thank you for your time. Thanks for the questions, chat. Again, this is a complex process. We're going to be going over this quite a bit. If you need to check out Anne-Marie before we're on YouTube again, get into Benzinga Pro and check out Anne-Marie's option trading channel. It is full of all types of stuff like this. Check out the Zoom calls. Anne-Marie, you do an absolutely awesome job. Thank you very much. Look forward to doing this again.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And thank you, everybody, for coming in and listening. I know it can be dry. My husband's eyes roll back in his head all the time. I know it can be dry, but really, if you just give it a little bit, you'll be able to see fantastic things that you can do with it.
Indeed. And when you start seeing those returns, the dryness seems to not matter nearly as much.
Yes, absolutely.
Anne-Marie, thanks so much. We'll see you around, folks. Stay green.